Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another CAF update, the 138th CAF update. Boy, we have been doing this a very long time. It'll be 3 years when we get to middle of May, so we've still got 2 months to hit that record. But welcome to the show. We've got, I look at this show tonight and I say I could be done before 11 o'clock tonight, but don't hold me to that. That's probably not going to happen. But my list of things to talk about isn't as lengthy as it usually is. But welcome one and all. I see we do have Chris Snork back for the picks tonight. He's raring to go. I think there were probably too many great pieces of artwork to go through this weekend. I had a tough time narrowing my stuff down to 10 as well, but it was definitely an interesting week as far as the pieces we had to go through. I'm sure Chris will agree with that. But to start off the show tonight, I've got Brian Teese is here, and he's going to be talking about a Kickstarter that has recently launched that is, I think, about halfway to meeting its goal. And I'm not going to leave him in the green room any longer. I'll bring him into the chat. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Good. How are you?
I'm great. We finally met. We almost met 3 or 4 years ago, but now we've managed to work that out. We'll just blame Mark Hay for not making that happen when we were in New York together.
Yes.
So how long have you worked with Mark?
I started working with Mark back when I was on Winter Soldier with Marvel. Okay. So, man, almost 10 years now.
Dang. Well, he's probably he's one of the first people I met in the hobby for varying reasons. I mean, buying artwork from a dealer, he was probably the first. He invited me to go to San Diego. Yeah, we've known each other for a very long time. Yeah, no, he is. He definitely is. But we're here to talk about a Kickstarter that you've got going, and I can tell everybody I did link in the show description over to the Kickstarter, so you can see that from there. And I've also got some original art that we can show that is part of the book that you've got going on. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the book? And have you done Kickstarters before? I guess that might even be a better place to start.
Yeah. No, this is my first time, and it's been a learning experience for sure. It's very different from working for a company and just kind of having things kind of set up for you where you just have to really just focus on the artwork. You do some con appearances and things like that. And this is, I'm running basically the whole show. I've had a few people give me some guidance along the way, but it's doing like everything. And so I'm making some adjustments right now.
Yeah, no, I've run a few Kickstarters myself, and everyone's a challenge one way or another. Even just the setup takes a long time. It's agonizing to get it just the way you like it and everything. And did you do I assume you have a video that goes with it? I didn't get a chance.
Yeah, the video's up on the page, and I had a friend of mine, Kevin Hanna, who worked on the drawing. That is the Mike Mignola documentary that came out about a year ago on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
that did really well. And so he's a buddy of mine. So he lent some time and shot the video for me.
That's nice. So can you tell me a bit about the Kickstarter and how long have you been planning this project?
So I started planning the project initially back in 2020, and I was kind of finishing up. I was finishing up Predator that I was working on at Dark Horse, and my dad had been battling cancer for about 25 years, but really kind of picked up towards the end of the beginning of 2020, and then COVID hit. And so he ended up passing, not from COVID, but from the cancer. And I was just, I was kind of at the space where I've been doing work for hire books for a long time, and I wasn't really that happy with a lot of the scripts I was getting, and I wanted to be a little bit more creative with the stories I wanted to tell. And so I had it kind of in the back of my head that I wanted to do like a Kickstarter or something to give my chance to kind of just let me express myself in a comic book format, doing the type of storytelling I want to do, and see how people take to it. So it's I just kind of figured this is the time to do it, and I had some money set aside to do it, and I've been going through and I'm just basically out of that. So this is my last ditch effort to try to really make this thing happen.
Well, I mean, that's three years or so to work on it, to kind of flesh out the concept and everything.
Well, it
That's
was, yeah. I mean, it was the first year or so, first year and a half is kind of taking care of my dad's estate and dealing with all of that business of it. But going forward, yeah, if this takes off, I've got about 2,000 pages worth of content that the story could turn into, possibly even more if it goes beyond that. But there's a 2,000 page story like set up. So this would just be the first, and I really want to get this kind of a streamlined thing to where I can get it going on and on and on. So I'm pretty excited about that and that aspect. So yeah, I put a lot of planning into this, and I'm expecting this to go the long term.
excellent. Well, we can look at some of the artwork that you sent me. I think 7 or 8 pieces of originals here that we can take a look at. So, you can give us a premise for the story.
Yeah, so the idea is, I've always been into kind of the idea of UFOs or this, sightings from the past, and what are they? Are they actually extraterrestrial? Are they experimental craft? Or are they interdimensional? I mean, there's all these different possibilities, and I find the concept fascinating. So the idea is, it's what if there was a flying saucer that was seen around the world and crashed in the Seattle area. And it basically, the crash, there was some sort of, I don't want to give too much away, but it caused an explosion that leveled basically 15, mile radius. And the craft was left behind. And what would we do with that technology? What would we do if we knew that, we weren't alone? And what kind of questions and how would that change society? And so I wanted to basically take a story that takes place 20 years from that point on and look at these, start examining these questions in a format that follows a few key characters. There's a bit of Metal Gear Solid kind of spy stuff going on. There's a little bit of street racing, some kind of Yakuza type influences. I basically just wanted to give myself a chance. The story is something I've been working on for, in the back of my head, really, since I was a teenager. It's kind of the first kind of concept I had, and it's kind of evolved over time. And it's matured to the point now to where I can actually kind of push it forward in a way that I feel confident doing. Sorry, it was a long-winded, not specific answer to what you asked.
Right. That's all right. Well, you can't give it away. You can't give it all away. I mean, do you, what's your, background as an artist? I mean, do you also play video games? I mean, what is your background
I
with all
didn't
these
play so I grew up riding motorcycles, so there's a lot of motorcycle racing and imagery in the book. Of course, there's the UFO stuff, the spy stuff. Yeah, James Bond. I played some Metal Gear Solid. I've always been intrigued by espionage and those types of things, and I want to give myself a chance to kind of throw all those things together and put it into a book. And so that's what I did with this.
Well, it's ambitious, as far as trying to pull it all into one story and make that be your first big project like this. It's pretty challenging, but clearly you've got, how much of the book is already done? Is it all pretty much ready to be printed, or how far along are you?
I've got about 20 pages of finished art done, like all the way. And I think my Kickstarter says it's 3/4 done. I factored in all the writing and all the book's all laid out. There's other aspects of it that are done. So I'm going to need about 2 months to kind of finish up the art and polish it up and stuff to get it ready to go out.
And you've got like we said, it just started, so you have 28 days to go. So that's a pretty fair schedule to be on if you have a month and a half or 2 months left after the Kickstarter ends. That's pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not going to have much time. I'm going to have to jump right in and hammer this thing out. Yeah.
Now, do you have a lot of other work going on at the same time, or are you kind of?
No, I try to set this up to be my primary focus.
Oh, good.
So this would be the Kickstarter will allow me to sit down and just focus on getting this finished and getting it out, and hopefully I'll keep doing Kickstarters if I have to. If I can get picked up through a publisher and go that route, that would be great too. But it's something that I really want to use this literally as a kickstarting opportunity to get this thing off the ground and see what happens, and I'll adjust how I go forward after that.
No, that's exciting. I mean, I've always wanted to make a comic book. I've never been able to draw it or write it, but I mean, who didn't have that as a dream to to do their own work, right? I mean,
No,
do your own
totally.
independent
Yeah.
work. It's
I remember for me, when I was about 11 or 12, when I first got into comics, and it was when Todd McFarlane was doing Spider-Man. And so when Image started out and he was like, I'm going to write and draw my own thing, I thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. And I know that other people have done it in the past, but I was just at that age where it's very influenced by, that was kind of one of my earlier heroes growing up. So his attitude towards writing and drawing has always kind of had a lasting impression on me.
Sure. Yeah, Scott Wingo is a huge fan of Todd McFarlane. His handle's Mick Spidey fan, so yeah,
Nice.
He loves them as well. No, but I get it. I mean, that was a period when many of the creators were kind of just saying, "I'm going to do whatever the heck I want," right? And I think the fans saw it, and they also they enjoyed it. They appreciated the fact that they weren't afraid of challenges like that, and I think it probably inspired a lot of creators, especially younger ones at that time, looking at comics as a potential future. That they could be empowered to do more, and I think that's probably clearly they changed the industry greatly, but.
Right.
As a point of inspiration for you, because when did you get your first professional work, Brian?
I was helping Stefano Gaudiano out as a background inker, kind of unknown for a while, and then I got my first credit working with him on a Spider-Man arc, and I think there was about 3 or 4 different pencilers, about 10 different inkers on the project. It was the Grim Hunt series, and they just like, here, pencil 3 pages. And so I was like, sweet. So that was my actual very first recognized published work, was working on that. And that was back in, I don't remember exactly when that series came out, but that's probably about 12 years ago. And so then I assisted with inking for my first few jobs. And the last big one where I was primarily just inker was on Winter Soldier. And then did some inking work with Valiant once they hit. But I basically, after Winter Soldier, I went in and started penciling and inking on Star Wars Legacy. And that was my first kind of big break. And I actually got picked up at Emerald City Comic Con by Randy Stradley at that time. So that was kind of my big break.
Yeah, working with Stefano, I mean, I've hung out with him a few times at shows. I mean, he's a wonderful human being, and I'm sure a great person to kind of, maybe
he's a great mentor.
A little bit. Yeah. He's pretty amazing. But TMD1 Tariq wanted to know if you can explain the name of the origin of the title of the book.
Yeah, so Samvian, it's taken from, so that when I was in San Francisco and art school, I listened to a lot of Dead Can Dance, and there was a particular song that moved me that's actually called Samvian. So it's the meaning behind that is I am your shadow, and there is some double meaning that plays into the book in a bigger way. And I had to do I did some research to make sure that wasn't going to be a problem as far as like copywriting and stuff like that. So I'm good. But I just thought it was a beautiful name. It has visually, it has a very intriguing aspect to it. And I thought it fit the overall theme of the story to a larger degree.
I am your shadow. That's cool. And thank you, number one Marvel fan. He said that he just backed it and shared it. Looks great. Thank you so much. Let's see what else. I know I got a couple more slides here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yes, I think one of my tiers is a sketch cover, and I will, because this is a little bit different than what I normally do, I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into these covers. So I will go into doing something to, this detail. If you want something more simple, then I'll do that as well. So it's really, I'll be communicating with the people that ask kind of what level of detail they want. And if you're going to be like, for me, doing these tiers, especially the commission type level tiers, I will be putting a little bit more into it, just because this project is really important to me and I really want to get it off the ground. And I think that people are really going to enjoy it too.
Yeah, I was looking at the reward tiers. So you have a sketch cover reward tier and a commission reward tier. So there are a few original art opportunities in the Kickstarter as well. So that's always good, especially for
I'll
my
be adding
audience.
some more as well.
Okay. Because I saw in there, I think you had 10 sketch cover slots available and 4 of them were already taken.
Yep.
So that's cool. But so did you do a lot of, I assume you had to have done a lot of not only characters, studies, but for a vehicle like this, I mean, you had to
I designed that from scratch. Yeah, I designed about 5 or 6 different motorcycles, kind of a mix between a kind of a classic race bike and a Tron and a light cycle and the Akira bikes. So, I mean, it's been pulled from a lot of different.
Well, right?
I wanted to really kind of do my own designs, and I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out.
No, these are great, and I love love the backgrounds in this too. I can tell you enjoy drawing the details.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of fun. I get a little lost sometimes. I wanted to do something. When I saw Big Hero 6, I loved when they kind of introduced this kind of Neo Tokyo to San Francisco. I mean, it was like I spent so much time in San Francisco, seeing what they did with that. I thought like, oh, that's a really interesting kind of concept, and that was something I was like, well, I could do something like that, but and bring it into the story where it makes a lot of sense. And so that the Neo Seattle that I bring into this world introduces some aspects of this crashed alien technology that's been applied to the rest of the world. And you'll see like ruins of like the Space Needle, like kind of all ripped apart and stuff like that. And it's I just had a lot of fun with it, and I think that it'll show in the backgrounds in the book.
That's cool. What was that? Oh yeah, somebody said there's an alien at the top of the stairs. There is. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Kevin.
I didn't see it initially, but yeah, Kelly Goon paying close attention. So let's see. So well, that's awesome. Here, let me switch over to the Kickstarter page, and we can take a look at that too.
Sure.
But let me get this there. So before you started working on this, what was the last project you were doing with the publisher?
The last published project I was doing was Predator Hunters, and it was right before, in fact, so COVID hit, and then it was announced that Disney had taken over the property, and so I had known about that months in advance. So it was kind of disheartening to know that the project I was working on was probably just going to get shelved, and no one was going to really see it, which is pretty much what happened. And that whole period when I was about halfway through the book when COVID hit, and that was a really interesting time, just creatively. From you just kind of feel the flow and the work of not only the industry but the city, and everything literally just kind of, the air felt thick, and everyone was scared, and it was we all experienced this, we all remember, but it was a definitely kind of a surreal time to be working on a book, but also knowing that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So that was it. And then I was actually kind of burnt out. I kind of realized I was burnt out on doing work for hire books for companies, and I was nearing I was about 40, 41 at the time, and I was like, okay, I need to do something that is really important to me in my career, and I feel like this is I need to do it now.
Well, the Kickstarter is well on its way to getting to reaching the goal, so that's always a positive, and we'll share it tomorrow in the mailing that we send out. And I told Mark I'd plug it a few times before the Kickstarter ends too, so we'll definitely get as many eyes on it as we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, that really, like, I think now is I just need to get as many people to see it, take a chance to see it as possible. So
no, I mean, I've done my own. I've helped, other people kind of raise awareness for this stuff. I know it's challenging, but at the end of the day, when it's really rewarding when you're doing your own personal stuff. So I know exactly how you feel as far as wanting to get this thing out there. And it would be really cool if you got picked up by by a publisher, correct? I mean, just to, as something, down the road, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it'd be great.
Sorry, I just wanted to kind of go through all this, but yeah, so the link is in the show description, everybody, and I threw it in the chat a few times as well. So anybody that wants to take a look at it, please do. Brian, do you have anything else you want to add before we move on tonight?
No, I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to share this and interviewing and virtually saying hi to all of you. And yeah, please just take a chance to check it out. And if something you think you'd like, I'd love your support. And if you know somebody that might like it, then please pass it on to them. And that's what all I can ask. And just, thank you.
Are you going to be at any shows this year that you have planned, or?
I would like to. This is going to pretty much occupy most of my time. I'm going to try to make it to New York if I can. And that would be kind of my first appearance in a few years. And if this does get off the ground, then I'll be hitting a lot of shows next year.
Sweet. Fantastic. All right, Brian. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight. And like I say, I'll be doing some PR for you and Mark over the next few weeks as well. If there's anything that you specifically need that we can help with, just let me know.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. All right. I mean, it looks like a fun project. I mean, who doesn't love sci-fi and aliens? I mean, anybody, those are all my sweet spots. I mean, if it's sprinkled in a little horror, maybe a little bit more, but I love stuff like that. So no, this is, it's fun. And, again, I put Brian's link to Splash Page comic art as well. So anybody who wasn't familiar with Brian's work, you can go check out his stuff over on splashpagecomic.com as well. So you can kind of see what he's capable of. And certainly he's done a good job kind of organizing this, because I know what it's like. It is not fun. It's a lot of work to kind of pull together a Kickstarter, and you figure all the advanced work that he's had to do just on the story wise. So this is definitely a big project for him, but we'll be pulling for him. So we've got a few other things going on, and but first off, I mean, I started the show last night off, with Dueling Dealers mentioning the passing of Joe Giella, and I got a few emails from other people in the hobby, and I got something from his rep Jeffrey Hartnett that he wanted me to post on to CAF, and I thought, I literally got it about an hour before the show, and I thought, well, I might as well just give it a read here for those of you. Because I don't know if Jeff has shared this anywhere or not. He may have, but and I also got a photograph of Joe Giella from Peter Rowe when he took both Joe and Alan Bellman out for dinner, or maybe it was breakfast. I can't remember, at Ruth's Chris or something, I believe. So there's Joe down there at the table to the left, of course, and Alan is standing up there by Peter. Peter's back row right. But so what Jeff wrote me, he and it's funny because Jeff and I played phone tag. We played email tag a ton over the last couple of years. I've been trying to get him on the show, and then there was always an issue, and we'd always wanted to talk about Joe and his career, just because Jeff has known him for quite some time, and Joe's one of the creators who I've actually never had the opportunity to talk to, and now I really regret that. I mean, it's something that I would have really enjoyed. I mean, I've known his son Frank for quite some time, a longtime CAF member, great human being, probably one of the first people we ever interviewed on the show back in 2020, probably around June, July. That was back when I was too afraid to do these shows alone, and I had Mike, Will, and Glenn help me interview Frank. So that tells you how long ago that was. But here's what Jeff sent me, and I'll post it over to CAF probably in the morning. Joe Giella has sadly passed away. I had the honor and pleasure of being his rep and good friend for many years. He's a legend in our hobby with a career spanning over 70 years, from the golden age to the silver age, and along the way receiving the highest awards that one can receive. He graced us with iconic moments in the mythos of many of our favorite superheroes. His work was seen in many strips in the papers and commercial work as well. More importantly, Joe was the man. He was kind, considerate of others, and never having a bad word to say. The commissions he did for collectors, he took great pride in. And as he would say, if I would not hang it in my house, I will not send it out. At conventions, he was so humble, and the fans would come to see him and tell their stories of how they grew up on his work. Joe was shy and appreciated the fans' adulation that they bestowed upon him. We always had long lines at conventions, and he would honestly ask me, are these people here to see me? And I would kindly say, or kiddingly say, no, Joe, they're here to see me. He touched so many lives and was truly unaware of the impact that he had on people. Over the years, he would tell me stories of the artists he worked with and about things that went on in the business. He is one of the last from that era, and to have those stories to pass on to others helps us all learn about the foundation of our hobby. His accomplishments as an artist are too many to name here, and there will be few to attain his output, longevity, and consistency in maintaining the highest quality work. So many artists at these shows would come up to Joe just to shake his hand or tell him that he inked their work at some point, or that they were in awe of his career. From legends to newer artists, they loved Joe and respected him. I know our community lost this legendary figure, and the world has lost a very special soul. Joe was like a father to me, and in many ways, and as with any of you who he knew or knew of him or just met him, I feel blessed that he let us share in his life. My deepest prayers go out to his wife, Shirley, and family and friends at this time, Jeffrey Hartnett. So well said, Jeffrey. And, again, it's, we've lost a lot of creators since the pandemic, and it's been a rough period. But Joe was his output was at levels many people will never be able to attain. You think of inkers and artists at his level, and it's always the old timers, right? You think of Sinnott and Palmer, and people of those caliber who were able to stay in the business and continue to work for such long periods of time. Joe was an incredible artist, and we are definitely all the richer for him being in our lives and to have created such great work for us. And I agree, Tariq. Absolutely, that was a very beautiful eulogy. And again, I'll post that on the CAF tomorrow. I'll try to find some extra photos of Joe to kind of go along with that. But Rich, I'm sure Rich more than likely got to meet Joe a few times. You're absolutely right, Joe. And I've read many interviews with Joe. That's why I really regret not having the opportunity of ever met him myself. I just know he was, just a wonderful individual. And again, just, another one of those people from that era of comics that is no longer with us. So Godspeed to Joe Giella. Let's see. I've got some other things that we can go over. I might as well just get a couple things out of the way. I've got, as everybody knows, I've got a busy schedule coming up. I've had a busy schedule for the last 3 weeks, and there's really no let up, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And it's one of the bigger shows I've got is this Saturday with Dan Brereton. And I know I teased in an email earlier today some of the work that Dan sent in, and he worked his tail off. We were in communication beginning mid-January. And he let me know that he was going to do special pinup pieces for it, or, commissions. I won't call them pinups since that's a published term. But he wanted to do as many painted pieces as he could. And, partially for the show that we were going to do, but also because he felt like if a few things didn't sell, he's going to Lake Como in a few months. So he'll have plenty of material. So he actually ended up doing 38 painted pieces for the show on Saturday, which was far more than I was ever expecting. I was kind of thinking if he did 20, that would have been, yes, busy is always good, Jiggy. But so I was thinking if he did 20, that would be pretty spectacular. But he did 38 pieces. And then he also sent me 7 published pieces as well. And then he sent me everything in this massive, you can see it's pretty full portfolio. And there's just a lot of stuff here, and I know I showed several pieces today, but it might even be easier here. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just do this because it'll be 10 times easier. But let's do it this way. But so the show on Saturday is going to be a lot of fun, definitely, because I've always, I've loved Dan's work for a long time, and he's somebody who's he's just amazingly talented. I mean, I love his sense of color. He's right up there for me with Brian Stelfreeze, and just the palettes that he uses and the vibrancy of his work. And so like this is a published piece that was used in some gaming art and was the back cover of some, I can't remember which book it was, but I'll have it for everybody on Saturday, of course. And this is another published cover, and pretty much all the like that first piece, I think, is probably the most expensive that's going to be in there, and it's a little under $3,000. So pretty much The published pieces are all very affordable. Another cover, Punk Mambo, issue 3. He's got another, this one I think maybe it was unpublished. I can't remember. I'll have to ask him about that one. But you can see it was finished and meant to be a cover. Again, all very reasonably priced. This is another Dr. Mirage cover. So like I say, and this was something from Flesh and Blood, and I forget who penciled this piece, because this was one that he Neil Vokes. Neil Vokes did the layout for this cover, and then Dan got to work on it. So we'll talk a little bit about collaboration. Something that he hasn't done a lot of, but he thought that was pretty cool. And then this piece and the Swamp Thing were actually pieces he's had out there before. So I guess it was 5 published pieces and 2 pieces he's maybe shown to his Patreon before. But then starting here, everything he did exclusively for the sale that we've got on Saturday. So Great Warlock, and these pieces are all going to range from $400 for pieces that are more like this piece. I think we've got like 6 or 7 that are more ink with a little bit of painting on it. Those are like between 4 and 5, and then the painted pieces like the Warlock are all going to be in that 800 to 1,000. A couple pieces are a little over 1,000, but they're most, and I'd say 900 to 1,000 being the average for most of these. But they're all amazing, and I'm pretty sure size-wise they're all 11 by 14. Few of the smaller pieces might be 8 by 10, but in general, these are really, really well done pieces. And he and I spent a couple hours on the phone last weekend just going over all the pieces and trying to figure out, where they should be priced at based on the amount of detail and time and that sort of thing, and just character, wise, those sorts of things. But, there's just going to be, again, if you love, and the cool thing with this was Dan said when he was starting at these, he's like, I'm just going to do characters that I like. And I'm, so I'm not going to, it's not like he was taking requests or anything. He was just doing characters he thought would be fun. Maybe he had never painted them before. He even created a character out of here that you'll see, in a few minutes. But Killraven there, Gamora, what do we got here? Tank Girl. So, he really was just doing whatever he felt would be fun to do. And Polychrome, of course. And this one, I know we've shown this one a few times. I think this is probably the priciest of the commission style pieces that are out there. But obviously, this thing should be a cover, right? I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And Orion, and you can see Darkseid too, right there. And the thing was, with a lot of these, Dan's put in some little Easter eggs in these as well. So you'll see you'll see. You're probably seeing them while we show some of these off. But nice Scarlet Witch, nice Mystique, and like Brian Bailey just said, nothing better than letting an artist go wild with what they want to do. Absolutely, and that was what. And this is probably my favorite piece. Well, actually, he had one piece that I would have bought, and it ended up not making it to the sale, which is probably better because I would have bought it. But would be my next favorite piece. This Medusa. It's awesome. You can see Black Bolt right down there that she's sitting on. And hey, Brian, I have to ask you, since you did text right there, did you get my reply to you today? That's what I want to know, because I didn't realize that with the Comcast email, every once in a while Comcast likes to not deliver emails. I don't know why that is, but now when I saw that, I realized maybe that was the problem, Comcast. So Miss Marvel, and I mean, who doesn't like that costume version of her? Carnilla. And here, he made up a Lady Deathlock, everybody. Lady Deathlock. First one ever right there. Oh, good, Brian. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad. I was a little worried when I saw Comcast on there, but that's good. Fantastic. And I did pass your request over to Sharon today too. So we got a Lady Deathlock. You got Halloween Girl, of course, right here, and Jane Foster Thor. Not bad, right? And there's going to be. I mean, there's just too many really, really nice pieces here. Dan really outdid himself on this stuff. I mean, you got a Dr. Clea, of course, fun piece there. The masked Doctor Strange here. Another Halloween Girl right here. And I mean, again, this is just beautiful. And an Elric. What else we got? Dart from Atari Force. Now, who has seen a commission before from Atari Force? Not too often, but there it is, right there. Deja Thoris, she's topless. Yes, she is, but she always was, right? So it's not something that's surprising in any way. And Dark Phoenix and Death. That's a nice piece right there. One of the more affordable pieces of the sets that he had worked on. And Cynthia, of course. Again, skulls are a familiar motif in lots of these. And Batgirl, and that particular costume that many people appreciate. And then a Conan, nothing wrong with that. And classic Black Widow costume, and this is one of the more affordable pieces too, because it's done with a limited palette, I guess. And then a Black Knight and a more fully painted Black Widow, same costume. He likes this costume. And a bride piece, Big Barda, right? Can't go wrong with that. And there you go. That's the last one. So I think that's all 45 pieces that we're going to be looking at on Saturday. I told Dan that we would probably start the sale about a half hour into the show, just because we have so much art to look at. And clearly, by going through all those, we're going to have a lot to talk about. So I think, we'll focus the first 30 minutes on him and his career, and then we'll just kind of dive into this. And I'm sure that's going to lead us in lots of different directions when we're selling the artwork too. But I also got a package in from Mike Oeming today, because I've got Mike on a sales show on April 8th. And so I know several of you are big fans of Oeming. So what we'll have for Mike's show, because we stopped working with Third Eye, I basically got all the artwork that hadn't sold for everybody. That's why when we did Shaken, I had some pieces that were left over. So I've got some pieces for Oeming show that we didn't sell that will lower the prices on. And then Mike sent several pieces that he wanted to have new in here. So there's a Red Sonja cover. Let's see. Oh, and signed by Bendis, Powers piece, another cover, another Powers cover here. And I know this is the last Dick Tracy cover that Mike's got, and it's pretty dang spectacular. See, now I know what all these art reps feel like when Felix gets to do an unboxing. Now all this art's coming into me. This is awesome. I get to actually handle the artwork before I get to ship it out. But we're just talking about aliens. We got some aliens there. I forget, what is the title of that book? I know that I should remember that. But we did talk about that with Mike's last show, and another piece there from that same book. And what else we got? I think some more Powers interior pieces here, and could be a cover, could be a splash. Now this one won't last, I can tell you that for sure. This is a Abe Sapien and Hellboy piece. I have no idea if it was published, but that's not getting picked up. I'm certain of that. And some more Powers interiors here. And probably from the UFO book. And another piece from the UFO book. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Yeah, Jiggy, you know what this feels like when the art gets sent in. So yeah, there's a lot of, this is like, some of the work that you've seen before. That's the stuff that came over from Third Eye. Another couple Powers covers here. Yeah, some really good stuff. And so these pieces will definitely be reduced from what their prices were in the previous shows. And I think these pieces look like they probably do span at least the first two shows I did with Mike. So lots of good stuff to do over the next few weeks. So you guys are just going to keep guessing in the chat for things, right? But yeah, there you found it, Marcus, the alien. Thank you. All right. Well, why don't I show you the schedule just so we can figure all this out, because there's some new stuff on the schedule that I think some of you are going to be really, really, really excited about. So let's take a look at that. and because it's busy. I'll tell you, Marcus, you'll be happy to know that the Von Hawk meeting will happen tomorrow between her and I. And I'm going to get that piece of art back that she did the conservation work on. So we're going to sit down, and I told her, we'll try to do a 20 or 30-minute interview, and she'll go over all the stuff that she did to the artwork. I'll record it, and we'll probably play a snippet next week on the CAF update, and then I'll publish it in its entirety on YouTube over next weekend or something like that. But I'm excited to see it. I mean, remember how that water damage that was on it, it was on a heavy mat board, the layers of the mat board were separating where that old water damage was, and then it had the huge crease that was about a ½ inch into the main image. So she repainted it after she restored it. She told me there was black mold in this thing. Isn't that good to know? So, and you couldn't even see it. So the thing is, the conservator in her was like digging around. She was like, she wanted to make sure that whatever, that she was going to fix everything that was wrong with it. And she actually found that it had mold inside the mat, and probably from where it got damp. But so she went in and cleaned that up. Okay, Chuck's already seen a couple of those. All right, so I'll just keep going through it. So I've got Von Hawk over at my house on Friday, Dan Brereton on Saturday. I've got 2 shows on Monday night with Prop Store and Heritage. Sam Maroney will be my guest on Tuesday. I will be at MegaCon on Friday from 1 to 6. I've got Jiggy on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern for a team sale from his people. And then what? I've got the sketchbook show. Well, I won't be there, but James will be hosting the Tentacle show on 4/3. Sharon will be one of the people in attendance, as will the person who suggested Tentacles, Scott Wingo. Patrick and Jeannie Wilshire on the day after that. As it turns out, Mike wasn't going to be available on the 5th of April. So Anthony and I were going to do a make offer show later in April or early in May. So we just decided that we would do a website make offer show on that night and skip Dueling Dealers for what? I mean, one of those rare moments where we're not having a Dueling Dealers. And then, yes, Oeming on the 8th. And then Adam Kubert will be my guest on Saturday, the 15th at 2 p.m. for a chat and art sale. I'm really looking forward to that. As many of you know, I mean, Adam came over when we had the get together here. I chatted with him the other day, and Jason's lining up. He actually has lined up a few others, and I just can't talk about them yet because we don't have any confirmed dates yet. But Adam will be my guest on the 15th of April. I'll be doing probably the final Fat Jacks fundraiser that we'll do. That's on my birthday too, so that'll be fun. 4/18. Then I've got Joe Linsner on the 22nd. That's a Saturday. Monday, I've got Robbie and John Moore from Next Comic Art on the 24th. Dennis Cowan, Marcus on the 29th at 2 p.m. And then that evening, I'll be doing a show with Dexter Soy from Next Comic Art at 9 p.m. And it was funny, when I got the artwork from Third Eye, there was actually pieces in the package for Dennis Cowan that we never sold before. There's a God, well, I won't even tell you what they are, but it was interesting. I actually emailed them and saying, are these really, were these supposed to come to me? Because I never saw them. So that'll be interesting. Then I've got Sideshow Bob as my guest on May the 2nd, Dexter Vines on May the 6th at 2 p.m. Alberto Gonzalez will be my guest on Tuesday the 9th. And yes, now I write tentative on the 6th or on the 3rd there, and on June 3rd for Kevin Nolan, because it will either be the 3rd or the 10th. But right now we're leaning towards the 3rd. And what will happen probably from my initial conversations and emails I've been in on will be all, kind of commission style pieces. So that could prove pretty interesting. And obviously Kevin's panel in the November Comic Art Live with Scott Doombeer was probably one of our most popular panels from that show. I mean, it was spectacular. Remember, that was one where I had to leave and let Gwen take over because it ended up lasting 2 hours. People didn't want Kevin to go. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And he's pretty excited about it. I know they just started a CAF gallery too, but I don't believe he's posted anything in there yet. So Kevin's going to be at WonderCon. Mikhail's going to be at WonderCon tomorrow. Well, I hope you guys are able to carry your phones and watch the Dan Brereton sale. Dan's actually at WonderCon, but he's going to be doing the show from his hotel. He's going to be hanging out, and so Chuck says he posts and sells. See, I don't even pay attention, Chuck. I'm glad you let me know now. You could have let me know when he was selling stuff so I could pay attention too. But yes, WonderCon is this weekend. Is my Black Shoe One though is my prop store preview for comics only. It's that is for the what is it? The animation art. I forget the name of the artist now, who is doing the benefit auction for the Ringling College of Art down in Sarasota, Florida. It's for his scholarship fund, and I apologize for not having his name written down. But yeah, so it won't be for props. We have done a few prop store previews with Chuck when we've actually shown props too. It's just we're not going to do it with this one. Probably, more than likely, we would probably do it with the next one. We've had a couple occasions where Chuck Costas was in the prop store warehouse in California, and he would be showing some of the art they have there, but he'd have a lot of props lined up behind him, and we'd be able to talk about those too. But that's not going to be what we're going to be doing on the Monday prop store preview at 7:30. So yeah, so a very, very, very packed schedule, and I'm rolling with it all. That's why my energy level might be a little down. So you know what? I should have another drink. It was down last night too. It's tough. I'll tell you, you do 6 shows consecutively, it wears you out a little bit. But I have been very busy, and I can finally. Now I have not inked the deal. I have not put pen to paper on a contract, but Kazra and I visited a venue in Orlando on Tuesday, and it was our second time back there because we were there, about 2 weeks prior to that. Again, we're scouting the shows for that February 2024 show that we're going to be doing, and Kazra has been a big help. He's just kind of helped. There's shows are just too big to do on your own, and Kazra's been a friend of mine for a long time, and when I talked to him about it, he was really excited and he wanted to do whatever he could to help me, and he's been super instrumental on helping me kind of keep me focused, and he's just been amazing. So we were at this location on Tuesday. It was funny when we went there the first time. They basically have 2 halls, and they were both fine. One was 15,000 square feet. The other was 20,000 square feet. They wanted to put us in the 15,000 square foot room. And it was your just traditional, what we're all used to, a big hall with no natural light, no nothing, right? But we had to walk through the first hall to get to the second hall. And when we got done with the whole interview with them and had seen all the amenities at the location, and Kazra and I sat down and we both agreed that we liked the first hall better, even though it was much bigger. And because what it had was, and it even boasts this, it's probably the largest indoor space in all of Orlando that has natural lighting. The entire west wall and the length of the eastern wall is all windows. So walking into this room was unbelievable. It was all natural light. And I mean, if you're having an art show, right, you want to have natural light. We never have natural light. You don't get that anywhere. So yes, and so it's not going to be called Billicon, not going to be called KazraCon. It won't be called Comic Art Live, I can tell you that. We are working on a couple names. I think we have settled on something, but I will wait until, I won't announce that until we're 100% sure. But I did take some pictures while we were there. Yeah, UVCon. But the thing was, again, the space was, without the windows, it would be just your run-of-the-mill, place to host a show. But the windows blow it away. And but I'll show you where it's at, and I might as well just tell you where it is so you can look at it yourself. Again, you're going to laugh when I tell you what the venue is, but it is a Hilton DoubleTree at the entrance to Universal Studios. So like in this picture, the tower on the right is basically probably where all of our rooms will be allocated, because that the 2 buildings to the right of that building, the first one is the space that we're going to get. So it's literally, you exit the elevators, turn to your left, and 20 paces, you're in the convention center. But if you look across that 2-lane divided road there, that's the Lowe's Portofino. I've stayed there a few times going to Universal. So this location is literally 15 minutes from City Walk. You can't see it, but just to the left of where that intersection is a raised, crosswalk to go over the road. So, after the show or whenever you want, you can pretty much be in the heart of Universal Studios within 15 minutes, or probably a literal 1-minute Uber ride across the street. So it's location-wise, it's great. I mean, we were trying to be close to Disney or Universal, and this spot just can't be beat, really, at the end of the day. So interior-wise, the reason the windows are only half of the wall are because the pool is on the outside of there, and if the windows went all the way down to the ground, you'd be watching everybody in their bikinis and stuff. So but all of that is open, and it looks like I didn't even upload an image of the here. I did have a couple other ones here. Where was that? It was this one and one other one here. But so plenty of space. Like I say, it's 20,000 square feet that can get divided however we want. We are gonna utilize some of that those spaces. Like in all four corners, they had the ability to sort of wall it off and make extra spaces. So this is the western wall where the everything goes down to the floor. You can see it, I mean, it's like literally perfect. To the right of where I'm standing is a garage door. So guys like Anthony Snyder can literally back themselves right up to that garage door and unload everything. I mean, the pack in and pack out is going to be so dang easy. It's not even funny because the main parking lot is on the other side of these windows. So I mean, it's you couldn't ask for a better space at the end of the day. It's unbelievable. And everything, and you're going to get a cookie every morning, right? It's a double tree. And what else? Oh, and we will have a reception. It will be in this courtyard. They'll basically cordon the entire courtyard off to us on Friday evening. The reception will be kind of it'll be a calf birthday party. That'll be, because it's going to be the weekend of the 3rd and the 4th, but on Friday the 2nd will be the reception that evening from 6 to 9 in the courtyard. And if the weather's bad, they've actually got a restaurant that is only used for lunch and breakfast. So they would pretty much have that room set up as a fallback if the weather were to be bad. But hey, let's hope it's not. They've got a fire pit out there, fountains, plenty of room to sit down. I mean, you can't see that from my photograph here, but yeah, very, very exciting. I mean, we felt really lucky to have found this place, because the trick we found, I wanted to be in a resort. All right, that was my goal. Was I wanted to be in one of the best resorts in Orlando that I could find, and which was interesting. But what we found was that most places didn't want to talk to us because it's small show, first time show. But it was really more the size. And what they all, by and large, told me was, come back 6 months before your show, and I'll let you know how much space we have. But they will not. I only wanted 10 or 12,000 square feet. Every place said, you're filler, and we cater to the corporate giants, and so we want to leave. We can't reserve anything more than like 5,000 square feet for you, unless you want to wait till 6 months out, and then we can tell you what we can give you. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to wait till 6 months out. So. The Hilton was more than amenable to booking it now and giving us the bigger space, and so we were happy to get it, and very happy. I'll be signing the agreement with them early next week, so everyone has to wear a costume. That's I told them that nobody's going to be wearing a costume, but yes, as Chuck just said, it will be February 2nd through the 4th. And I can tell you, there's going to be some pretty awesome announcements that we're going to be making as well. I mean, I've really not approached too many people, artists and creators and stuff, but I approached a few, and we will be, the thing is, I don't want this to be just a standard show. I want to be, with the work that we've done on Comic Art Live, helping facilitate sales and experiences that we've done through here. We want to be actively engaged with the guests that are coming who want to be, and to hopefully create unique experiences for those in attendance. And so we've got, all right, people will be wearing costumes. All right, no, people can wear costumes. Yeah, Aranga, I know, will be in costume. Yes, it is going to be exciting, George. But yeah, so we've got some pretty cool stuff. I can tell you that I've already got one of the announcements booked for the 13th so that'll be a calf update in 3 weeks. I hope to have 2 that night that we can do. Maybe I'll even do one before that, but the 13th is really going to blow your minds, and it's a very limited exclusive opportunity, but I think everybody's going to be super excited about it, just from the idea and the concepts that we're going to be bringing with the show. So, it's something I wanted to do really since we started doing the virtual shows, right? I mean, I was co-owner of Big Wow with Morger and Joe and Mark Hay and Steve Wyatt, and surrounded myself with people like Tatiana and Brian Pack, and we had a really fun time there. So I've always had con stuff in my blood, and get-togethers and meetings, as we all know. I mean, the mini golf being the worst case scenario, but we've everyone has to dress up as me, says Matt Moore. Well, my name will not be in the title. I can assure you of that. But at any rate, we're very excited about it, and I can't wait to be able to talk a bit more about it. But I just had to get it off my chest finally, because we do have everything worked out. I was emailing with them today. They kind of gave me the final revised proposal for the space and food and beverage requirements and those sorts of things. And like the reception, well, we're going to cover the food. There'll be cash bars there, though, for that. There will be an art auction on Saturday. Hopefully every guest that we have out there will be contributing something to that. I've been working a bit with Scott Doonbeer as well. I'd like to be able to have a part of the art auction that is geared towards assisting the Hero Initiative. So pieces that are in there exclusive to that. The art auction will be Saturday after the show, but in the same hall. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is something that, I mean, you just wouldn't see anywhere. But if you went to to our show or our get together in Columbus, or you saw the photos, what that was like. We set up round tables in the center of the room and had the vendors on along the wall. Well, we're going to have plenty of round tables and seating for all of you. We want this to be the collector's show, everybody. I mean, it will be the show that everybody wants to go, because everybody's going to be bringing art, and some of it will be for sale, some of it will be for show, but we want to give all of you the opportunity to not only patronize all the artists and sellers that we have there, but give you guys the opportunity to sit down across from one another and slide portfolios back and forth, and do your thing as well. And the thing is, where we'll have the that area set up, that will be where we host the auction at the same night, so everything will happen in the same room. But you'll be very comfortable with that space when it's all said and done. But that courtyard is attached to the back of the facility as well. So when you need to take a 20-minute break and you want to just get outside, it is Florida in February, so you could expect anywhere from 60 to 80 degrees. But you can go out and hang out. There's plenty of covered areas out there as well. So, yep, it's going to be a Coke commission op. Yes. That may be possible. So anyway, there you go. We'll have a lot more that we can talk about soon. But the good news for me was finally that we actually have the venue nailed down, and now I can actively, more aggressively go out and start talking with people. So excited about that. Now, I do. We were going to play that video of Marcus's last week, and we didn't do it because we were so far behind. But I want to play it now, but I can also show you, because I did send out some emails, and I think I actually got a few more. I definitely got a few more since we've started the show. But remember, I said we probably had 10 people who got their best of trophies who I hadn't got photos from. So I emailed everybody a few hours before the show, and I got a couple replies right away and got pictures from Amir E. Put it up on his bookshelf, so it's nice. The best of 2022 trophy is sitting up there with some Terry and the Pirates books and Calvin and Hobbes. And when we got Miracle Man, of course, Preacher. That's right up NSN's alley, right? We got some X-Force. So anyway, so nice to see us on the bookshelf. Sienkiewicz New Mutants over there on the end, it looks like. And then Kirk Dilbeck actually sent me this one. I know we've seen that statue before. I think Kirk showed that off when I did the interview with him. So there it is. It's in the place of power there, next to a replica Thor hammer and the Thunder God himself. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better spot for that hammer. So thank you, Kirk, for putting it in there and for sending these photos. So now we can show that video that should have been seen last week. But I hope you're ready for this, because this is Marcus giving us a full tour of many of his collectibles, the most important ones. And also, if you look closely, you'll see those Thor hammers that he fixed that we showed off a few weeks ago. Nicely done, Marcus. So yeah, that was funny. He even put Berkey in that in the little crawl space. That was awesome. So there you go. But yes. So, and I did get a few other photos. I'll show those next week. I can't see. I can't save those and move them over fast enough. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in there, and I appreciate seeing all those the trading cards. Those are fun. So yeah, oi, says Camel. So hey, we got a couple packages here to open. Now I was going to have Gwen come in and open this one because it's actually for her, but she's busy. They're going to a Pokemon tournament this weekend up in Charlotte, as a matter of fact. So yeah, George, you may have run into my family and not, and you probably won't know it, but there's a big Pokemon tournament going on, and they are leaving in the morning. It's Saturday and Sunday over there. So Gwen was not able to come into the office and hang out and open up the art, but she saw something. Well, actually, Anthony is always on the lookout for stuff for my kids, more so than for me. Surprise, surprise. I love Anthony. No, I can't say that. Anthony sends me stuff all the time, doesn't he? But when it comes to art, he knows, like Gwen likes, she likes a lot of stuff. She likes My Little Pony, and Powerpuff Girls, but she definitely likes Spider-Gwen a lot. And so he sent, so whenever he gets something, definitely from Spider-Gwen, he always sends me a pic of it. And I forgot what this one was. What was it? Oh, that's right. It's a Rags Morales Spider-Gwen commission from 2015. So that's in a bag, but you get the idea. Look at that. Nicely done. So Gwen's she's got to have a full portfolio by now. She's been collecting as much art this last year as I've been getting. So yeah, very nice. I don't think I've ever gotten anything from Rags myself, but that is pretty decent, pretty nice. All pencil. So Gwen will be very, very happy to have that in her collection. Now, next up, and lastly, this is something from Mr. Nick Barucci. Now, I think it was 2 weekends ago. I got a text from Nick. It was like Saturday afternoon or something, and you know we don't text that often, but so I got it, and Nick sent me some pictures. He said, "I'm at this small show, and I saw this art. Would you want it?" And first I said, I looked at it and I didn't recognize it, so I was, but you know the paper it was on was kind of interesting. But then I said, nah, I don't. And then I kept looking at the pictures of it, and then I texted him back. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and get it. You know, they were affordable, and but I didn't know what they were. That was the thing. But I just felt like, you know, they were the right price, and I figured I could do a little bit of research. And so I did some research. I know that I bet you Derek knows exactly what this stuff is, but I'm going to have to cut this out because it is taped down to the board here. So the cool thing about the paper was it's got TSR written on it, and that's what caught Nick's eye, you know, because obviously TSR, Dungeons and Dragons, everybody knows I would kill for a battle axe with a dwarf with a hammer or a battle axe or whatever. Hell, I'd probably take an elf with a bow and arrow if I could get it. But it's got to be drawn by Bill Willingham. So Nick saw this and thought of me, and because it looks kind of Dungeons and Dragons-y, but it actually isn't. What it's from is a company, many from the 90s probably remember. I think it was called Lone Star. Is that what they? I have to double check that because I only researched it the day that Nick sent me the pictures. But it's from a title. Ironically enough, it's the title of the book was called Amazon, and the person who drew the first cover was Bill Willingham. So you know, that's kind of weird. But let's see, how do you got this sealed, Nick? Oh, here we go. So the art was cool. If I can get it out of the bags here, because there's 2 pieces here. Man, Amy does a really good job packing this stuff. Everybody's in suspense. I'm feeling like Anthony handling artwork right now. There we go. All right. And so the artist on these is R.R. Phipps, who is no longer with us, as if my research is correct. So there was just a, let's see, this is from issue 2, page 7. So it's got this like giant Quetzalcoatl or something like that, right? Going crazy there. But cool art, definitely from the mid 90s. Has that feel to it, right? Plenty of detail in the yeah. Don't tear the. I didn't tear anything. Nope, not me. But this other page, and these are a little oversized, aren't they? Where's I don't have any 11 by 7. Well, let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, a little bit. All right. So you got your 11 by 17 there. So these are about, I don't know, 13 by 18. It's an odd size, but there it is. And then this one has whatever the character Amazon. Again, I didn't try to read it, but look at that. That's pretty awesome. That when I see that, that's definitely prime kind of artwork for that period. It makes me think of Jeff D and Willingham in their own ways. So that was kind of cool. Lots of action on that one. So thank you, Nick, for picking these up for me. I sincerely appreciate it. And again, just seeing the that's what caught Nick's eye. And there I am. I'm out of focus as this doggone thing. I did it again, didn't I, everybody? Yes, I did. Good looking out, Nick. Exactly. Come on. Who wants to look at my hand? Over here. Yeah. I'm gonna have to play that video again and it'll fix the video. Let's see. Haunches up. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that caught your eye. Look how focus is fine on the artwork. There we go. Now see, I just had to keep slowing you back to the haunches. It wants to stay focused on that. There, much better. But cool page. This one's the definitely the better of the two. I just love all the detail in there and all through there. That's fantastic. So thank you very much, Nick. It pays to have friends. And there I'm out of focus again. I need the haunches by me, right? So yeah, here they go. I'm gonna do it again right here. See, look at that. I hold it next to me and I become in focus immediately. We got to buy a new camera. I just can't deal with this camera anymore. Look at it. As long as I hold it, hey, look at that. It's like magic. We all want to stay focused. Yes, but they are beauties. And again, Nick, thank you so much. I really appreciate you keeping an eye out. And anybody, if you ever see anything that's by TSR or Bill Willingham, feel free to call me or text me if you got my number. You know where to get me. Chris Snork says cameras in haunch mode. Exactly. So yes, thank you, Nick, and thank you, Anthony, for thinking about Gwen. We both appreciate it. Guys, all right, I am going to end up buying a better camera. I just have to. I left a spot on the wall because my feeling was that I was actually going to buy one of the regular like SLR, DS, whatever those regular cameras are, and then use that as my my regular webcam. But I wanted to mount it on the wall so that when I'm hitting the table or moving stuff, it's not going to vibrate. So I've already spec'd out and purchased the thing that I'm going to mount on the wall to put the camera on, but I haven't bought the camera. So I guess I should be using some of the money from these shows and put it into a better camera. So hey, Chris, nice to see you, and thank you, Rick Welch. Yeah, no, again, it's always fun, and we, where would we be without friends in the hobby looking out for you? So I appreciate that. I mean, I've had people call me when they're when they're at a show and at somebody's table, and they're like, Bill, there's a drawing of Thor here. Do you want it? And then they'll send me a pic and everything. So yeah, that's the way things should be. So there, well, look, we're just over an hour, and I really don't have a whole lot more to talk about outside of doing the heritage picks and the EXP video. Am I waiting for? No, I'm not, Stanley. I'm not waiting for Scott Wingo to buy me a camera. Of course, Scott Wingo bought this incredible microphone that we all know and love. I mean, where would I be without that darn thing? But no, honestly, I just haven't. I wanted to actually go to like a Best Buy or something and actually try one out before I bought it. But I'm probably just going to end up having to get something through Amazon and just go based on the number of stars on it, because there's just too many options. There's like 10 that people recommend, and and they're all, the thing is, the better cameras are all between like $1,000 and $2,500. So it's not like spending $75 or $150 on a webcam. So I don't want to screw it up. So I've been I've been a little nervous about doing it, but I think I'm just going to buy it, and whatever it is, it's going to be better than this thing. Let's see. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Mikhail. So, but you wouldn't say no if you did. I wouldn't, but I do not expect that from Scott. Not at all. I didn't expect this from Scott. Oh boy. Thanks, Marcus. But anyways, all right. Well, let's get on with the rest of the show. I'll show you my heritage picks this week. My heritage picks were like so easy. I don't think I've had as easy a week as this. It was just one no-brainer after another, except for down to the last one. The last one I waffled on a couple pieces and ended up picking something that was just a little bit off the wall for me. But let's see here. Let me get the screen queued up. No, the webcam chats will not come back. Isn't that funny? I think they must have fixed the algorithm or something, because we don't see them at all anymore. And knock on wood, tonight will be the night. But it feels like since the first of the year, we haven't seen anything, right? I don't feel like we've had a webcam in here for many a day. Henry's asked me an art question. Who draws my favorite Thor? Kirby, Buscema, Pollard, Simonson, Deodato, Davis. Probably Kirby. I'd put Kirby, for me, Kirby ahead of Buscema, but I could argue and put Buscema ahead of Kirby too. But I love Pollard, but I mean, I wouldn't put him at the top of my list. Love Simonson. I wouldn't put him at the top of my Thor list. But yep, I would put Kirby there. There you go. Even Brett Mixon agrees with me. Thank you, Brett. All right, let's take a look at Ramita Sr. Well, yeah, he probably does a really good Thor too. But no, Kirby for me is number one. Come on, and as Nick just said, 81 watching, 51 likes. We can do better than that. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at my heritage picks for the week. Again, this was an easy one. A Stephen Platt Moon Knight page, right? I mean, well, Platt, we were just talking about Platt the other day, right? Platt artwork is so hard to come by as it is, and to see him doing Moon Knight, which is what everybody, would, if you want a Platt, I mean, I would put Moon Knight pretty close to the top of that list. Looks like that that word balloon's coming off a little bit. You got a nice drop shadow on it, but otherwise, perfect page. Love that last panel. You got the you got everything you want in a nice Platt page here. So I think when I looked at it too, it was pretty. It was already at $1,500 on the first day. It's $1,800 right now. I mean, that is a, that one's going to go. That could, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the in the top 3 price wise pieces for next week. I mean, it would have to beat some of those Terry and the Pirates pieces and whatnot, but it could. And Rick Welch, thank you. The new camera fund. All right, now you guys are pushing me into getting the new camera. I really need to do it. I should just sit down on Saturday and figure out which one I want to buy. I appreciate that, Rick. Next up here, we were just talking about this tandem as well on this book not too long ago. Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin, Doctor Strange 48. I mean, everybody loves them together as a team, Rogers and Austin. What was this? I think it was when it was one of the picks from Nick Barucci from the recap, I think. It was either Nick or Dino. Now I don't remember, but that's when we talked about it last, and and then lo and behold, Heritage pulls out a Rogers and Austin piece, and so I mean that's just gorgeous. I mean Terry made everybody. I mean he smoothed everything out for everybody, but I love Rogers and Austin. He can't be beat. So this is a nice page, and again for the first day, it's doing pretty well over at Heritage. But yeah, these are hard to come by. Very hard to come by. So somebody's going to be happy when they end up with that one. Haunch Focus. Yes, Marcus. Here, Bernie writes in on this one. Now, I think there's actually a couple Bernie writes-ins in this one. But again, you get it doesn't have a date on this piece, but nice horror, tree, creatures, and the inking on this thing is gorgeous. Everything you'd want in a writes-in piece outside of it being a Swamp Thing or a Frankenstein, I mean, or a zombie, right? But I'll take some horror-ish tree creature things like this, just because of the style. You look at the ink work on here. Again, I don't know. I wish it had a year on it, but it doesn't. I haven't read the description. It doesn't have a date for it, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So again, a very easy pick. And then over here, look, it's a Avengers piece by Deodato Jr. And I know many of you in the audience love Deodato. This is from a period, of course, when I wasn't reading comics, but I always thought Deodato was pretty damn great. And he does draw a pretty tough-looking Captain America here, right? And you've got and look, there's like X-Men in this too. You got Rogue and Gambit on the same page, so. Not too bad. Love the I love the panel work on here, and nice page all around. Nice page all around. It is X-Men, exactly, Marcus. Hey, Anthony's in the chat. Have you been here for a while? If Mighty Mark is out here, or if someone knows him, please email me. That's right. Mighty Mark was in the chat. He picked up some artwork from Anthony last night on the on Dueling Dealers, and hasn't emailed Anthony yet. So whomever Mighty Mark is, if you're out there, or if you know who Mighty Mark is, I know Mighty Mark has bought art from us before. I swear he has. I know, at least we've seen him in the chat. So you should email Anthony at Schneider.com. And it's SNYDER, not SCHNEIDR, or however that was pronounced the other night by my sister-in-law. But yes, Snyder, SNYDER, AnthonySnyder.com. So yes, not as good as Liefeld's cap chest, but what can you do? I didn't notice that at first, but then I saw it, and that's the first thing I thought of too when I looked at that. But still, it's Deodato Jr. and it's Tom Palmer inks on this too. So that's a bonus, I'd say. But thanks, he bought before. Yes, I know he's bought before. If he bought from you, how do you guys not have his contact info? Because he either bought from you or Mike. But anyway, I'll keep moving along here. So next up, Joe Kubert and Redondo Studio gets listed as the inks on this Tarzan piece. But come on, it's Joe Kubert, obviously from the pencil work on here, but fun stuff. And it's what was I think when Adam was over here, he wasn't it Tarzan stuff he wanted a Tarzan cover by his dad when he was kind of talking about. I think somebody asked him, like, if you could get anything works of your father, you know, what would it be? What would be the one thing you'd really like to get back or have that you don't have? And I think he said it was a Tarzan. He'd like to have a Tarzan cover from that his dad worked on. So that's saying something. So you know, and this is a nice piece, regardless of what, you know, you can't say exactly who the inker was on it. Gorgeous composition, all Kubert, nice piece. Then next up, we got Keith Pollard Inhumans page. I mean, if you're a fan of the Inhumans, and again, if you're a Marvel fan, who isn't? But you got Black Bolt all over this thing in battle. I mean, look at those last 4 panels. Man. This thing is awesome. So this is early Pollard, and I forget who inked on this one. I'm not going to read the description, but really fun page. I mean, it looks. You know, Pollard, I mean, didn't Pollard take over for Perez on Inhumans? And so he worked really well. I mean, as far as like kind of matching some of the detail work that Perez was doing. But this is pure Pollard for sure. We were just mentioning Pollard's Thor work. And I like this page a lot. You think it's Wyatt check, Rich? Well, let's check. I have no idea. It doesn't say. I mean, could it be all Pollard? I wouldn't think so. But yeah, it honestly actually does not say. So it's Inhumans 10. I'll be curious if somebody else inked it. It could be Wycheck. I mean, it's pretty smooth, like you'd expect to see on a Wycheck ink page, right? It definitely looks like his inks. You're right, Rich. I mean, it very well could be. But great page there. Then we have this P. Craig Russell Elric page. And if you're a fan of P. Craig Russell like I am, I mean, this is pure P. Craig Russell. I love it. I thought about bidding on this one. I bid on some other stuff today too, but and I think I'm the high bidder on one piece for the moment. So we'll see if that works out. But yeah, no, I really like this piece. I love P. Craig Russell stuff. It's you get Michael Gilbert inks on this piece as well. So to me, that's a plus. I always thought. Gilbert was a fantastic. He's a fantastic artist, and his work, his inking really complements Russell on this piece. Then I picked one of these pieces before, these H.G. Peter Sensation Comics panel pages, because you know these things got cut up like a lot of artwork did back in the day. This is from 1948, but I mean, you got Wonder Woman wrestling a dirigible with some kind of a hatchet-like thing on the front of it. God only knows. Lots of damsels in distress tied up, and guys standing around. Either they're the bad guys or they're the good guys that don't want to untie those ladies. But either way, I mean, come on, it's an H.G. Peter panel page or panel from a page from 1948. So you know, that's pretty spectacular right there. What is that? 75 years old. So you know, that's pretty awesome. And I know we've featured one of these before, and you know, where are you going to find H.G. Peter art? No, nowhere. I know, so suggestive, Richard. I leave that to the yeah, phallic. All right, but it's got a little bit of everything going on in it. Maybe I should go to the next. Maybe I should, you know, get away from this piece right away. But very cool and very. I don't want to say rare, but you know, they're hard to get, right? You don't see them. Then right here, I got a Keith Giffen. I know I didn't talk highly of Omega Men, but I still love Giffen art from this period. This is from Omega Men 4. Mike DiCarlo inks on this. I just love everything Giffen during this period, from you know, Legion over to Omega Men, and yeah, I mean, every time I see stuff from this period, it's great nostalgia for me. I mean, Giffen just, well, he's pretty much incredible all throughout his career, but you know, this era of his work. I mean, you know, Perez was the only guy that could get me to buy DC until I saw Giffen Legion of Superheroes, and I knew nothing about Legion, and I bought it because I loved Giffen's art. And just like Perucci said, That is beautiful, Giffen. Yes, it is. Focus, please. And yeah, Rich Danny's, all the women did have the same stylist, didn't they? I was thinking that same thing. It's like they all had the same hairstyle. Why is that? H is for haunches. Okay, one last piece. This was my off-the-wall piece to pick, but I thought the DC fans would be happy to see me do it. This is a Joe Staton, Frank McLaughlin, Tales of the Green Lantern Corps, #1 splash page. I have no idea who the villain is, but I mean, the artwork, I actually really like this piece. I mean, again, you don't always have to know what you're talking about or like. And, you know, I don't know anything about the character, you know, as a set of villains to the Green Lantern Corps, but I like this page. And I actually had 5 pages that I was looking at to be my 10th pick, and I went with this one. So, Krona. Is that what it is? He is Krona. Okay, you are right. I know nothing about Krona. Men of OA. We are men of OA, aren't we? Men of OA. I'm sure that's OA, but OA. You who now call yourselves guardians of the universe, I know you are watching me, so heed my words well. Anyway, awesome page. Love the detail. I love the heavy outline work on the character. That was the thing that really sold this piece for me, was the inking. The McLaughlin inking on this piece is just spectacular. Rich blacks on this thing. I mean, it's a great page. The more I look at it, I mean, I wouldn't mind owning the page. Let's see, Ram, you know a thing or two about DC. Yeah, Krona. He's the one that looked back in time and saw the hand holding the universe. Oh, and Brian, you too. Krona's very badass and technically responsible for the crisis. Wow. Well, there you go. And see, I don't know anything about Krona. I read JLA Avengers too, so I guess that tells you how closely I was following who the villains were in that. All right. Anyway, so there you go. There are my 10 picks from Heritage. So I guess, you know, this maybe other people like this page too. I have no idea what. Was it still at $8? Hey, I should throw a bid on this one right now. And it did kind of look like Synod inks, but yeah, McLaughlin was the inker on this one. All right, so close that off. See, look, only at 1 hour and 26 minutes now. But now you know what time it is. We are going to show off the EXP preview for tomorrow night. The EXP starts at 7 o'clock Eastern and runs till 8:15 these days, but it's well worth it, the extra 15 minutes. And you will see Nick Brucci talk to you about the hobby, and he keeps it fun. He shows you art. He usually gets through all the art that he's brought for sale, and it's always priced to move. So every show runs from 7 to 8 p.m. You can see him on YouTube. You can see him on Facebook. You can see him on Twitch if you're a gamer and you like to stream over there. You may or may not see him wearing red pants, though. You never know. But here, let me show you the preview for tomorrow.
Hey, everybody. This Friday, March 24th. 7 p.m. Eastern on the Original Art Experience. It's really going to be a big week. This is something we talked about 2 weeks ago, and we've been building up to this, and I'm going to end it talking about it. But this Friday, we've got some cool art from some artists we've hardly ever had or never had. Let's just go. We've got some Secret Origins Flash pages. If I'm putting the Flash on the air, you know I'm going to cry a little bit. We've got Brett Booth. Check it out, Norm Ratman inks. We've got Gunslinger Spawn, Brett Booth. We have Dale Eaglesham Green Lantern. We've got Werewolf by Night, Scott Eaton and Scott Hanna. Captain America 600, Dale Eaglesham Pure Pencils. The last 2 Sirens pages by George Perez that are from Carol Flynn's personal collection. All the money will go to Carol. We will also have Aiden was so generous. One of the community members donated this Brave and the Bold #6 2-page spread with Batman and the Legion of Superheroes, with all the money going to Carol. We'll also have commissioned cover art, Invincible Iron Man 600 with Nick Fury in space by Joe Del Beato, Mariano Nicieza. Then we have Wolverine versus the Hulk with the Wendigo, again, Joe Del Beato, Mariano Nicieza. We may have some Ken Hazer on the air. We'll also have this last color guide, the color guide, the complete issue to New Teen Titans 33. We're going to show it one more time. And we have these historic George Perez sketchbooks with original designs. Of course, I'm missing all the pages with the sketches. of some of his characters from Siren. So these are birth pages, origin pages. Check it out. So we'll be offering both of these this coming Friday. So all the money, this is again from Carol Perez Flynn's personal collection. All the money will be going to Carol. So this Friday, March 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on the Original Art Experience. See you there and hit that thumbs up.
There you go. See you there. Hit the thumbs up. You bet. And it was very cool of Aiden to do that. And I have to tell you guys, I am getting a haircut really soon. I can't. It's been about a year, I think, since I've been to a stylist, and I have not. And I have not weathered the last year well. Obviously, Maureen's giving me grief every day, and I'm giving myself. Look at this. It is looking ragged. I have got to. I got to do something about this. So expect sometime in the next week or two to see a cleaned up me. But yeah, I can't take much more of this. Yeah, perm time. Yeah, Todd, shave it all, Bill. I keep telling Maureen I want to. I want to go. Just go down to like an inch or two, and she's like, nope, can't do it. You're not doing it. So I guess if I don't want to sleep on the couch for the next year and a half, I can't do that. But 6 inches, 7 inches, it's going away. I can't take it. Every time I put a shirt on and my hair is tucked in it, that's when you know you've been at it for too long. Bad hair days in Florida. Yes, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Absolutely. It's too humid down here. So split ends. Yeah, you got it right, man. You guys all got it right. But yeah, Maureen said I can't take it all off. I was literally gonna. I want to, because yeah, down here it's freaking hot. You're not supposed to have long hair down here. Nobody does. Anybody that does is a fool. So anyway, so we move on to the calf update now, and I can tell you I actually don't have the videos for that. My son was busy today, and so he actually uploaded the files for me to edit them, and I just ran out of time. I was doing too many other things, but I can tell you what all of the stats were from the dealers and the auction houses. I could even open up some of these pieces to look at them. Maybe I can show them, but not with the dealers. But I can do that with the auction houses. Here, let me switch over to here. I can share the screen. I'll be ready to, at least with the auction houses, I'll show you what we got. But so yeah, this is from the last week, March 13th through the 19th. The dealers had a average week, but up from the week before, $318,000 in sales as compared to $257,000 in sales. Anthony Schneider, he led the dealers who are in our database of those that we track. 110 sales and almost $95,000 in sales. Congratulations, Anthony. You always are a winner in the number of sales count, but you don't always come out on top with the total sales, but you did. You did this last week, so congrats for that. Panel Page was next. 3 sales, almost $80,000 in sales. Ramita Man, 28 sales, $66,000 in sales. Albert had 21 sales, just over $50,000 in sales. And Felix Comic Art had 15 sales and $11,780 in sales. Wow, I should put the channels into this list. For Comic Art Live. I mean, I did the Joe Phillips show. Was that part of that week? I think it might have been Joe Phillips and Howard Chaykin. I don't remember now. At any rate, I would rank in some of these. I mean, we tend to not list anybody who goes over 10, and both of those shows were over 10. So yeah, I should start listing us in there. And I can tell you one thing that I'm going to start doing the first chance we get is with regards to any of the sales shows that we do on the channel. As soon as I can, I'm going to set it up so that we can start leaving feedback for buyers. So when, if you're a CAF member buying from the show, which of course pretty much everybody is going to be, I'm going to set it up so that I can leave feedback for buyers who are buying through the channel. I can't say we would get that extended over to Dueling Dealers, but it's something that I thought about a few weeks ago and would be, a great integration into this, especially now that we're handling the sales for the show. And I have to tell you, and I've talked with a lot of people about this, and one of the things that we will be changing on the shows when we're doing an artist show. So even on this Saturday, we will be charging a service fee on stuff, because now that I'm in charge of everything, now I know why Third Eye dropped out. They were pretty much making next to nothing when they were doing their work. And I mean, they loved it because they actually like getting to interact with the artists and everything. But I mean, I had an order from one of the shows where, you know, the person was outside of the US. They were in Canada. And Canada, when you pay through PayPal, it's 5.5%. And you know, that's just about what the you know, my commission percentage grew by when I took over doing that extra work. So it's like, wow, you know, I'm almost tripled my workload because we have to pack, invoice, you know, collect the money. I have to cut the checks to the artists, all this stuff. And there's nothing there at the end of the day because it all gets eaten up by fees. So if we'll have Zelle as an option. Heck, I will even offer people to pay with check if they wanted to. You know, as long as it was like in the mail the next day, just so that we can not have to worry about putting any kind of service fees on those. But it will be a part of the artist sale shows going forward, just to cover it. So, yeah, no, well, you know all about it, right? It's you know, it's a lot of work, and you know, and my kids are helping me, but I'm the one handling all the, you know, writing the checks and invoicing everybody, and I'm actually, you know, I mean, it's a lot of work. Definitely a lot of work. So we'll be doing that. You have to charge a bit of a fee. Well, Nick, I completely agree. Josh says I need an intern. I do. Well, I do. I've got my daughters, but you know, they're in school during the day and everything too. So, and things are getting expensive. Yes, Tim Guerrero. I mean, it's definitely, you know, I didn't know how good I had it when Third Eye Comics was handling all the fulfillment, because it was, you know, again, it's cool getting to see all the art and getting to handle it, but they had the bad end of the whole job, right? I mean, doing all the packing and billing and, you know, tracking people down who were paying late and all that stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of extra work. So I'll be doing it, but I'll be keeping it as fair as I possibly can. So Anthony's telling everybody he's going to be at Big Apple this weekend, and he's going to be at C2E2 sometime soon. Anyway, so there you have that. I wanted to bring that up. So next up, what are we going to talk about? We got the what were the 6 pieces? Since I can't show the 6 pieces for dealers. Number 1 was a Greg Capullo cover. I think most people saw that when Panel Page listed it. It was the cover to Batman 2. The asking price on that one was $50,000. The next up, Panel Page again. That was the Captain America 6 cover, John Romita Jr., Claus Janson. That one sold for $18,000. No, it's no good without the images, is it? But I'll just go through this anyway. Then Anthony sold the complete 6-page story from Jetta number 6. I don't even know what that is. Time Out of Trouble from 1953. It was Dan DiCarlo art. Sold for $15,000. Then, what do we got? Romita Man sold that piece I know we had on Dueling Dealers. Didn't sell for $14,500. He sold it on his site for $14,500 at the FF81 page. It was that 4-page piece that I know it had Wizard and Human Torch on it. Jack Kirby, Joe Sinnott, $14,500. Then we had a What If 10 page by Rick Hoberg, and that was sold by Panel Page for $11,000. And then finally, another FF page. This one's issue 121 by Buscema and Sinnott, and that one sold for $10,000 on RomitaMan.com. Now, I can show you the auction results, at least, thankfully. Switching over to that, we can't really count that big $1.1 million week before that, because that had the international signature auction was in that. But $361,000 for the week is pretty decent for both eBay and Heritage. Definitely buoyed by the big sales that happened on eBay. They had just under 800 total sales, and which amounted to $220,000 in sales. And the big sales, of course, were those 2 John Byrne X-Men pages from issue 124 and issue 130. The page from issue 124 sold for $37,775. And the 130 page sold for $21,262. I actually kind of like the 130 page better. We can look at these though. And then the other page that did rather well was that I'm sorry, Marcus. It was a Kelly Jones Batman piece. But yeah, we can take a look at the one that sold for the most was this one here, which classic storyline with the whole arcade stuff going on with this one. So this is from 124. Nice. You get see, Psych came in handy there. you know, they were almost frenemies after a while, right? When she became the leader of X-Men. But here he is, he's giving her mouth to mouth, brings her back to life. All is well. But that one was the one that went for the big bucks at 37,000, and the one that didn't go for the big bucks was this X-Men 130 page. But I kind of like this one better. I mean, this is all like the beginning of the whole Dark Phoenix stuff. I know there's not a lot of action on it. First panel's fine, but again, just from significance of story, I really like it. I mean, I would have been happy to own it, and I certainly expected it to do more like 25,000, just because I feel like that's what that's kind of where those pieces just seem to be anymore. So it says it's 21,206. We got a different number back? Oh no, that's what we got. Okay, and then hey, the Kelly Jones. What was that one? Because I didn't look at it. Let's see what it looks like here. Yep, that's Kelly Jones. All right. I won't ask Marcus what he thinks, but a good page. So very rare for eBay to have so many decent pages all at one time. And I mean, most of them came from that one reseller in Canada. So next up, the Heritage picks, 2 Milton Caniffs, both doing rather well. They were the Terry and the Pirates from 1936, for both of them. One went for 10,000, the other one for almost 6. We'll take a look at the Lady Death from Stephen Hughes that went for $6,600. It's a variant cover from 97. Yeah, 97. Yeah, that's Stephen Hughes. Everybody likes Stephen Hughes, right? If you're going to get a Lady Death, that El Mickey's saying that Kelly Jones was a print. Is that what it was? Somebody who didn't know. Well, there you go. Then that one, I'll find a way to strike that one from the database. Then is that the piece that everybody was talking about on the Comic Ardell? I wasn't paying any attention to what was being discussed over there, but if that was the piece, then that would make sense, right? Does it? I mean, he's got it in one of those top loaders. It's on the back. Is that like a back image? Huh. Yeah, maybe they don't know what they got there. I mean, it was signed by Kelly Jones on the outside of whatever that is. Discussed on the CGC forum. All right. Well, I guess well, everybody knows I don't hang out there, but I did see there was a conversation going on in the Comic Ardell that I wasn't paying attention to. So there you go. Then that one is then who the heck was bidding on it? So they ended up canceling it. They had to have, right? Somebody bid it up and canceled it. Well, I guess I'll have to go reread it. Right? Nice pumpkins. Says Josh Flanders about the Lady Death. All right. Well, so much for the Kelly Jones piece that everybody was interested in. So there you go. I will have to go on the CGC boards just to read what the whole thing. Kopecki says it was a full-size print of an 11x17 page to advertise. For an artist edition. Interesting. They let it run the course, and even though, well, that's pretty crappy. I'm sure somebody will end up canceling that. They're not going to pay for that. Oh well. Well, there you go. I guess I should pay a little bit more attention to the Comic Ardell emails when they're coming out, because I had no idea what they were talking about. But be that as it may, we're going to get on to the fun part of the show now. So let me bring in my good friend, Mr. Chris Snork. Hey, Chris, how are we doing, man?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'll be honest. I'm pretty worn down. Last few days. I know you have been as well. Sorry, my condolences. I can only imagine what the last few weeks have been like, man. But we missed you last week, and I hope everything is kind of on the mend for you.
Yeah, you and Kevin did a great job. I have to say I watched the week that I had to bail, and boy, you were not having a good time.
I was not, but I managed. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It wasn't one of my better moments. But you got to roll with the punches, right? And I'm sorry you didn't. I understand why. I really was like, I hope you went to Germany and found a way to be happy. But I totally understand why you ended up having to stay home, man. I mean, there's more opportunities to go out to do trips like that, more important things in life. So.
Oh yeah, and in my line of work, it's a very regular deal. So yeah, not a big mess. The getting up at 4 a.m. to do the meetings anyway was a little bit. I probably would have had it the other way around, but it's all right. I lived. I'm here to talk about it.
Awesome. Well, the thing is, there was a lot of good artwork that's added last week. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Tons.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. When I was going through everything on Tuesday, I had a hard time. It took me a couple of days to kind of figure out what pieces I wanted to run with this week. And I thought it was funny that the first piece you picked was an Atari Force piece. I was talking with somebody else about Atari Force. I don't know anything about it, never read it, but every time I see a piece from that thing, man, Garcia Lopez he was on fire during that run. I love his work anyway, but boy, Atari Force rules.
It's so incredible in his when you bring the piece up, I'll talk about it too, but for a guy whose figural work is already pretty much I don't think it's an exaggeration to say he's one of the best figural draftsmen that's ever worked in comics. There's a reason that he's the person that DC had do all their model sheets, do all of their advertising art, stuff like that, and this is a great example here. The reason I picked this page though is Atari Force is Atari Force. If you're reading it, you're basically just reading it to look at the art. So that's what we're doing here. I think the thing I like the best about this page is the pacing. So eliminating the panels really makes that action sequence at the top seem like it's happening within a split second. And I think that's such a cool way to illustrate that action.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think we've seen a few pages where, from this book or series where he employs that same sort of vibe, right? Where he doesn't let the panels kind of define the battle. He just kind of let it flow. And this is another great page. I've got to get an Atari Force page. I don't know anything about it, but the more I see these darn things, and I agree, I get it. Tim Guerrero, he's always on fire, but I don't know. There's just something about some of them. When I look at these, not knowing anything about the stories, it makes the artwork just all the more impressive to me because it's something I know nothing about, and so I can look at it without, throwing like Dr. Fate or a character in there that I have some familiarity with. It's cool seeing characters I know nothing about, and I don't know. There's a little bit of mystery to that. And that's why I've always been impressed with these Atari Force pages.
Well, it makes it purely just about the art at that point, right? There's no connection, there's no nostalgia, there's no whatever fond feeling towards the characters, whatever you want to say. It's just look at what's on display here.
Right. No, it's fantastic. And whose calf gallery was this? Antonio Perenas from Spain, a longtime member too. Wow, 14 years. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't remember that name at all, but I'll have to check it out. So Bob Smith inks on this piece. Let's see. Brian says, I don't care a bit about Atari Force, but Garcia Lopez always makes a page worth having. Yeah, I get it. Let's see. Next up, we've got, yes, we actually saw this. Dino showed us this piece of art last weekend, but it definitely deserves another look because it is awesome. I think Joe said this is like one of the few times he ever painted Batman, but wow.
So I picked this because I actually left Dino a comment to this effect too, but what I think is the best part about this is it's such an amazing melding of Neil Adams' style with Jusko's techniques, right? It looks like a Neil Adams Batman, but then you've clearly got Jusko laying on, there's no mistake who painted this, right? And the palette, the tone, the chroma, everything about it screams Jusko. And I think that's just such a cool, like I said, kind of amalgam of those two, kind of legendary artists in this piece.
Agreed. Yeah, no, it's stunning. And I forget, I think it's pretty large too, right? I don't know if it's in the description.
I think it's 22 by 18. Did he say?
Yeah, 23 by 18. Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. Oh, and it was even more impressive. That's right. I was trying to remember why. Look at the frame this thing is in.
Oh, wow.
That is really well done.
Great matte choice.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is gorgeous. So yeah, that looks great on a wall. You can hang that one anywhere in the house. It's so large it won't fit in anyone's bathroom either. So it has to be in a place of prominence, right?
Maybe Dino's bathroom. Maybe.
But no, this is awesome. And I love Jesco's work. I mean, and this is a nice earlier piece for him. I mean, obviously he was working earlier than this, but this is gorgeous. So congrats, Dino. I mean, I loved it when I saw it during the recap we did. But yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Needs a bat wing in the moon, says Chuck Arnold, from 89. All right, what do we got here? Carl Choi's Calf Gallery, and it's Azrael versus Batman commissioned by Jarrett Hartnell. Wow.
Yeah, I just absolutely love the tonality on this piece. Like the object source lighting is incredible with Azrael's blade, but then also kind of the odd design choice here with Batman's, like, I don't know, almost Mr. Freeze looking helmet there.
Yeah.
I guess contextually, I don't know what's going on in the piece, but I love the sort of odd character design choices that the artist made for both of these two. And then, like I say, just the tonality of the thing, like going from like shining, like bright white all the way down to blackest black and like hitting every tone in between.
Yeah, I agree. I love that's when I saw this piece, I love the flat tone above the cape with around Azrael, and then just the stark white around it at the bottom. I just thought that was the contrast was beautiful, and the in the shadows, I mean, those whether that is a relief or the front of a church or something, I mean, it just feels rough. It has texture to it. I mean, the way those the way it's drawn with the ink work there, it's just beautiful. And then all of the splattering and the highlight effects that are done on this piece, it's really, really impressive.
Clever composition too.
Yeah, definitely. It glows, Rick Welch just said. So yeah, I completely agree. I mean, yeah, it's nice. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, as I'm looking at it now, I really like the sword sort of like plunging in between the sides of the cape.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous. Well, congrats to Carl. Carl's got one heck of a collection, as everybody knows. So if you go over there and check it out, you should leave a few comments on this one. It's only got 3 comments so far, everybody. Deserves more than that. Now, let's see. Whatever this is, it's got George and Marcus and several other people commenting on it. So what do we got? All right. A Greg Hildebrandt cable recreation.
So we had Jusko, now we have Hildebrandt. This was so cool to me because I don't think I've ever seen one of these from Hildebrandt before. I think what Aranga called it was like a chalkboard style recreation of one of his cable pieces from Masterpieces. I just thought this was so, I mean, perfectly executed, and honestly, it captures a lot of the same vibe of those Marvel Masterpieces cards, but it's just in gray tone, which I think is so, I mean, that's an incredible, ability in this medium to be able to achieve.
I was curious. Is this, because here's the original. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And I think it's funny, I'm on Greg Hildebrandt's mailing list, and he's been selling a lot of like pencil prelims and things that aren't painted, and I kind of like him a lot. I mean, he has a really decent sensibility about his composition and his structure in his work, and you're right. I mean, this one, it literally captures that 90s vibe as well, not and in large part due to his style, the soft, I mean, he's very painterly use of these pastels or whatever he's using. This is really cool.
Yeah, your comment about structure is really that's really well considered, because the other thing I really like about this is the volume of the figure. I mean, Cable's like a big brute, right? But like, he's so good at the way that the shadows wrap around, like the limbs, for example. It just adds a lot of like volume to the figure.
Yeah, it does. That's a great piece. And I've never owned. Well, no, I can't say that. I actually have a Hildebrandt piece. It's like a painted fantasy piece, but I've been wanting to get something from like all these Marvel sketches that I've been seeing. One day I will get something because
This one's really cool. I like it a lot.
yeah. No, well, congrats over here. Only 2 Oranga. Oh, I already put a like on it. And I can't give you 2 likes, Oranga. Sorry, you only get 1 today. All right, Eduardo Rizzo. I mean, holy mackerel, this thing is stunning. Look at that.
The geometry on this thing just blew me away. And I mean, that's kind of like his stock in trade, right? So none of this lighting stuff is surprising from Rizzo, but one, it's still super well executed. But 2, like I don't ever remember seeing him work on a Star Wars character before. So like this subject, I think, is so, in my opinion, wild for him to have taken on. I think that's great on its own. But then when you take into consideration like him really not straying away from his style, not shying away from doing what he does best, and then still applying it in that, Star Wars kind of milieu, I think is really cool.
So I'm counting the bars. I want to see if he did the shadows right. But I completely agree with you on everything you just said. But I'm trying to count the bars like over the creatures, over his right shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 8 bars there, but on the shadow on the grounds, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that's the corner. Maybe it doesn't count. I see 9 lines there. But either way, it doesn't matter. It fills the page perfectly. And you're right. I mean, Star Wars with Rizzo. I can't think of ever seeing, like, you would think somebody would have commissioned him or something, right? I mean, or you might have some other characters, but
there's got to be stuff out there, but nothing, sprang to mind, which I think on some level makes this even cooler because it means it made a real impact.
Now, the lighting on it's gorgeous. I mean, the fact that you just see one leg from the Rancor and and just essentially his arms and his head. I mean, that's so cool. And the same thing with Luke, he's kind of fading into the darkness too, and yeah, no, this is everything you'd want from a Rizzo piece and Star Wars.
Yeah.
The Rizzo of Skywalker. All right. It is great lighting. Okay. Moving right along. But no, wait a minute. So Justin Z. Congratulations, Justin. That is a beauty. Yeah, what do we got here? A lot of comments on this one. Paul Martini's calf gal. Oh, yeah, I would have picked this one. When I saw this one, I almost made this one the it was a battle between this one and the piece I picked for the cover image for this week's show, because this is unbelievable.
So I saw this on Instagram and I had a knee-jerk reaction, like, I gotta buy that. I have to buy that, and it was already gone. So seeing the process on Instagram actually made me want it even worse. So the reds are all like laid down first. So he very loosely like sketched out the absolutely incredible composition. Don't get me wrong. Like that's maybe the best part, right? Is the composition. But then in seeing how the technique was applied, I was just like, oh my God, I got to get this. And like I said, it was gone. So, I mean, the blacks, like the way the figures are all like overlaid, it's almost like, literal waves of hand ninjas. And then taking nothing away from the knockout black of the Punisher, like dead in the middle there.
It is Scalera. Yes, Tim. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's so graphic, in the way he's treating the ninjas, I mean, just their shapes. I mean, it's almost like it could be like
leaves.
Yeah, right. Or I mean, yes, exactly. I mean, they're just fun graphic elements in this thing. I mean, and even he ends up being that way too because of how he's like silhouette and everything, but just so well thought out and executed. And to keep the palette on the ninjas pretty much just 2 flat colors, maybe 3 for shade. I mean, just to kind of pull that off and not have it look like a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I want to go back and just look at the like that, because that's like Escher or something, right? I expect to see the negative space between the ninjas at some point to start forming little lizards or something. I mean, it's
look at how little they get toward the bottom.
I know, that's why I'm like, something weird should end up happening here. If he would have pulled that off, then this is like the Mona Lisa of painted cover artwork.
Yeah,
but
or like
close.
if you like squint your eyes, like you can see it's a skull or something, like the blacks form a skull. You could totally
Right. I mean, you almost expect it because it's so intricate and so well thought out that, honestly, I'm trying to find it. It's got to be there, but it isn't. So it's okay. But in a sense, it's the same thing, almost Escher-esque. There's something about it. And, but boy, yeah, this would have been my, I should have picked this one as the cover, I think, but I got a good one, but this is a beauty. One of the best pieces I've seen.
I think this is my favorite thing I've seen all year.
Yeah. I would put it right up at the top 3 pieces, probably, for sure. How did I not pick it? As the cover image, I don't know, but no, I mean, this was a definite no brainer. So, and again, what Martini, Paul Martini, 2-year member of CAF. I'll have to check out the rest of their CAF gallery. All right, this is a good one. I mean, everybody wants one. Not many can own one, but a Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutants page, issue 19, page 12.
So shameful confession time, and
yes.
I'm just going to be brutally honest. The only reason I picked this is because it has Corsair in that first panel. He's my favorite Summers.
Oh, are you serious? Those are fighting words.
Sorry.
I actually didn't. I mean, as dumb as it sounds, I actually didn't realize that was Corsair. But now, of course, how could I not with the headband and everything? But I knew I saw Lilandra, but I didn't even look at him practically. I just thought he was nobody. But why, you're a big fan of Corsair?
I wouldn't say that because I'm not a big fan of the X-Men, but if you had to ask me who my favorite Summers boy was, it would be Dad. So,
goodness sakes.
No, I mean, I picked this because it's a Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutants page. The Corsair thing is a sidebar. The Lilandra is cool. Those trees in the second panel are insane. I think the whole thing is gorgeous. But what do you say about a Bill Sienkiewicz New Mutants page that hasn't been said?
Yeah. And this is one I don't think I've seen before on CAF. Maybe, I mean, it's always fun to see a page you haven't seen before. Even there's there's not a lot of action on this thing at all, but it doesn't need it. I mean, I love the hallway, right? I mean, it's just Sienkiewicz at this point in his career was just doing so much amazing work, and to have him be on a book and an X book of any kind, to have that kind of freedom. I mean, look at just oh gosh, this thing is I'd kill for this piece. And you're right, and you kind of get some a little bit of Lilandra and space stuff going on.
Yeah, binary.
Binary, right?
That's a very cool first panel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good one. So let's see. Marcus says Corsair had legit reasons to abandon Scott. Cyclops sucks. Nobody likes Cyclops. All right, I get it, everybody. I'm sorry, he's still going to be my favorite.
Maybe if he grew a cool mustache like his dad.
Maybe. I know he was a wuss, everybody. I get it. All right,
Slim.
so, yes, exactly. So Anthony D's CAF gallery here. Let's get this over here. So Jeff Shaw. Whew, man, look at that thing.
Right?
Holy moly.
I am a sucker for anybody that can draw like massive anatomy like that, and very few people do it that well. This was a variant cover for Immortal Hulk. Obviously, Jeff Shaw wasn't the regular artist in the book, which I think adds a really cool element. Makes this unique. But tons of skulls. But yeah, really, I mean, for me, this is just about that like figural work.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. The scale, I mean, the composition of this piece again. Yeah, this is fun. This is really nice. What else does he have on here? Oh, some detail pieces. Let's see.
Itty bitty little head.
I know. I had a friend that drew like that. Like in the when were he and I always drawing like 85, 86, and I was like, that's just stupid. You drawing these superhero characters with these tiny heads. It's all wrong. You shouldn't do that. And then of course that's what everybody ended up doing in the 90s. So I guess he knew what he was doing. I had no clue, but yeah, no, nicely done. And I really like Shaw's work in general, but this is a really nice piece. Let's see. So Anthony D. I'm not familiar with Anthony's calf gallery. I probably will be after I go through it later. Okay, Immonen and Von Grabadger Star Wars piece. This is really, I love Grabadger's. I'm probably butchering his name, his inks, but this is gorgeous. This page, I did not see this until you picked it, but I thought this thing is beautiful.
It's a perfect Star Wars page in my opinion. The reason I picked it though is, I mean, it's right there. It's that likeness that he pulled off of Han Solo in that panel.
Yeah,
I think doing a likeness is one thing, but then doing a stylized likeness is like just something unto itself, because this definitely one, it reads as Star Wars, two, that reads as Han Solo, but three, this all still definitely, like, this is Immonen. It's clearly Stuart Immonen, and it's also clearly Wade von Grabadger.
True. Yeah, very true. And I was, like you said, the likeness on Hans was just kind of amazing, because I thought the same thing. It's like, I look at Leia and I think, oh, Adam Hughes could have drawn that. I mean, but there was something about the way he drew, that likeness was just impressive. I mean, when I made the intro video, I actually focused on that, because I just thought, wow, he did a damn good job on that one. Yeah, he nailed it. And
like, don't sleep on the textures. I mean, my word. Like there's armor, there's weapons, there's ships, there's Chewbacca, who's basically like walking texture, right?
Right. Yeah, I love that there at the bottom. And you get some just pencil work there.
Pencil, yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah. Oh man, so you don't get that kind of stuff, and that's why we love.
Look at that! Look at that hatching that's going on Chewbacca's hands in the panel above, where he's kind of coming up behind Dengar.
Right. Yeah, that's sweet. See, I didn't even notice that before. Wow. That's awesome. Shoot. I like this page.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Dang, well, let's see. I got the like on there. Jason Hussa got that one. And Jason's got an awesome calf gallery. So that's a beauty. Congrats,
He wrote
Jason.
a great description too.
Did he?
Just in general. That's a strength.
Got it. I'll go back and read it. All right, what do we got here? Caden Russ calf gallery. Here we go. So Raphael Kanan. Well, we all know we like Raphael's work. Ooh, it's got a lot of bricks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's bricks, but like, this is what a feast of like texture here. Obviously the bricks, like the tonality on the bricks is incredible, and like, just so much, there's so much to look at here, and it's all so fine. And then, the figure is, the figure is still the point of the composition, but it's kind of inconsequential, because the whole thing matters, which I think is so cool.
Let's see. This was,
I think it's Red Sonja.
Yeah, it says original Red Sonja. I was trying to see if it had like, what it was in. What it was from, but really, yeah, I wish I could see this one in more detail, because I'm sure the textures on the brick are stunning. I mean, it's like Jeremy Bastian, like detail looking like the a lot of work went in to make these bricks look that good. Yeah. But,
and that alone is something that is worth celebrating and worth highlighting. Like, just the craftsmanship that went into this is just otherworldly.
And it's only got one comment on it right now, everybody. It deserves quite a few more. And Jeff Wedding was agreeing to David Wetzel's comment on the earlier piece, saying Joe Caroni does great Star Wars too, and that is very true. The 10 fantastic picks, Chris. I don't know if I can live up to them as well, but I think
Let's find out.
Picked a few good ones myself, so let's get this thing switched over to mine. And here we go. I mean, I kind of picked a couple no-brainers, but I always do, right? Because I'm a sucker.
There were several no-brainers this week.
There were, and I probably got them all. So this was over in
one that I felt like I was stealing from you. This one is a clear no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I know we just looked at the other Miller Daredevil from the international auction. So this one kind of has similar things going on in it. The other one, he's being thrust at you, and This one, he's falling away from you. So I guess maybe when I think of both of those two covers together, maybe he wasn't, Miller wasn't pushing himself, or Jansen, or they weren't pushing themselves. But just seeing this, it's all, for me, it's nostalgia, and it's Miller doing Miller like we really wanted him. Where we appreciate him the most, maybe up until he started doing Sin City and the other things. But this is when I took notice. I love all those the storylines, and this is from, what issue was this? 86. So yeah, this one had a lot of comments on it too. I think it deservedly so. Right. I mean, Glenn as a winner here. I mean, anybody who can. I mean, that's a dream piece. I mean, I'd love to own a Miller Daredevil interior, but to have a cover. Oh, I don't care what issue it's from.
It'd be a cornerstone in basically anybody's collection.
Yep.
Is this Miller? I'm
wondering. It says no. It does say Jansen Inc. So I was trying to see if he signed it. I don't know. That must be his signature in the lower right there. That's because Frank signed it up in one of the buildings. But
yeah, now that I say that, the face has definitely got Klaus all over it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I don't know that's his signature or not, but a note to Klaus. So yeah, there you go. Guaranteed that he was in there. But congrats to Glenn. I mean, I'm jealous.
It's amazing.
Then hey, see, I picked the Garcia Lopez. Everybody,
and Nolan.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got to add Nolan on there too. But I picked this one because of Garcia Lopez. I mean, this is, I love this thing. I love the slightly canted perspective on this piece. The approach is, it's gorgeous. I mean, because it's not even just the perspective there. You're getting the thrust of of everything going into perspective up the wall. I mean, this thing is crazy. And then you throw Dr. Fate in there, and God, the cape work. I mean, this is a work of art. It's beautiful. And I know Kevin Nolan, in part, he's adding a bit of himself in this too. So you put these two together, and damn, I mean, I love
such a great combo. I think it's really cool that it's from it's an amalgam piece too. I mean, those are so rare.
Yep, exactly. Strange Fate, yes. Because it's funny, when I first looked at it, I mean, well, there were lots of to me, like nods to other artists in it as well. I mean, but I see a little colon in the cape design and things. I think there's just some fun stuff in there that's just neat.
Yeah, but, like the torch too has kind of a Gene Colan feel to it.
But pure Garcia Lopez and Nolan in here.
There's a lot of Nolanisms for sure too. The cape, the hatching on the cape is clearly Kevin Nolan. Yeah, this is such a killer piece.
Yep, agreed. And Brian Bailey said it has a Gene Colan, Doctor Strange kind of vibe. Yeah, exactly. There's something about it. I mean, if you're gonna channel the best. So this is a winner. And I picked Nolan for the second piece too, because and this one I kind of waffled. Like I said, I had a hard time making my picks this week, but and I don't even know what was this from. It was a comic book artist cover. So it was just fun. It was something I'd never seen before. And then he threw Batman in the back, a pure Nolan image there. I hope when he does the show with me, he draws a few Batmans, because those will be very popular. But again, just fun. I mean, I like the perspective of the city around it. It fits whatever this flying machine is well into it. It's just a fun image for me. But never saw it published before. But
I had zero interest in Jack B. Quick when that was coming out, and I bought every issue.
Did you?
I was like, I'm not gonna miss new Kevin Nolan art.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a cool piece. And trying to Eric DLS, congrats, Eric. Eric's got such good taste. I mean, he is usually, everybody knows him as the Art Adams guy, but man, he's got about 5 or 6 artists that are always in his sweet spot, and he gets nothing but the best.
Yeah, impeccable taste. Super nice guy too.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he really is. I haven't seen him in, God, it feels like 10 years, but I got early in my days going to San Diego, he would always make a point of finding me, or I'd see him. He was always who who did he work with? I mean, I know Marcus would know. I think Mitch, didn't he hang out with Mitch and do some work for him? I mean, but he was always around. He's such a nice guy. But again, another cool piece added to his calf. And then I picked this one from Mr. Chuck Arnold because I love Frank Quitely, right? And you don't get to see too many painted pieces that Quitely has worked on. And then this one is from 2018. So it's fun. I mean, I just love anything that Quitely does, period. But to see a painted piece and then knowing it was in Chuck's calf gallery because he's such a fan of Frank's work that I decided I'm going to highlight this one, because it's cool. I'd love to get a painted piece by Frank as well. So lucky Chuck gets another one.
In anyone else's gallery, this would be insane to say like you own a painted Quitely, but for Chuck, it's like another one. Which,
right?
That's pretty cool.
Right, because Chuck, I can't remember what it was. But I remember he has that painted cover with the figure with the reds and the blues in it. I mean, I don't remember what that was from, but
we saw it in person at Heroes.
Yes, exactly. And then he gets this too. So, well, congrats to you, Chuck. You're just making everybody else who likes Frank Quitely's work jealous and sad. and again, it's Superman. It's like as far as like work that he, it's probably the most recognizable work he's done since the X-Men work, I think. Mm-hmm. So it was his work on Superman. So that is I love it. Absolutely. So yeah, I'll even put a like on it for you, Chuck.
What a guy.
Let's see. Next up here. This was a Kirby Coletta 4161, and this is in Nick F's calf gallery. I mean, you get Kirby drawing Galactus anytime, it's always just going to be good. I mean, I love the center panel. I love that fourth panel, the close-up of Galactus. I mean, it's kind of that generic-y Kirby face on it, but it just doesn't matter. I mean, it's Galactus, and it's fun, and there's a little bit of Thor in there. You get everything kind of cosmic-y and crackly, and I would love to have this page. I mean, irregardless of it being Thor, I mean, it's just to get something with Galactus in it, drawn by Kirby, would be a dream come true.
Huge score, yeah.
And and he's missing one S in that for Asgard, right? If Anthony, I know you're here. See, look, it's only got one S in there. How could they do that? See, the editors caught that one, Anthony. They didn't catch the one that you had. Did you see that? I don't remember. If you were you here for that show?
I wasn't here, but I did see it after the fact.
See it? I mean,
I saw the aftermath.
but yeah, no, gorgeous page, man. I'm jealous of this one right here. So this was in Nick F's calf gallery, and man, that's a winner right there. Whew.
Yeah, that first panel.
I'll go back to it.
I don't know, man. That first panel cannot be undersold in my mind.
No, it can't. I mean, this is just it's fantastic. That's why I'm jealous. So all incredible Kirby panels, says Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Exactly. Yes, Anthony remembers that. All right, moving right along. What do we got next here? This is Brian Peck's calf gallery. I don't pick. I don't know why I haven't picked a lot of things from Brian. I mean, maybe because I'm competitive with him on the X-Men stuff. Not that we really compete, but I mean, come on. This is all Alan Davis. Let me click on it here. Just Alan Davis being everything you love about Alan Davis, right? I mean, he's got such a distinctive style. I love the piece. I love the lighting on the piece. I love Rachel in the back. I love the just everything about it. I mean, it's gorgeous. I don't know if this was it published. I don't remember now.
I mean, perfect anatomy, incredible draftsmanship. Like the layout is perfect. Like, yeah, I mean, he's a legend for a reason, right? I mean, he doesn't do anything wrong. He's like, everything he draws is just like ice cold perfect.
Yeah, I agree. It says giant size Nightcrawler #1. So yeah, then it must be published, but it's gorgeous. I mean, Alan Davis is amazing. I've never owned anything by him, but I mean, after Excalibur, I mean, to get he drew Nightcrawler so well, so it really is great. Yeah. Davis seems to have taken his time with this as B&G. It is. Well, it's Rick Welch damp.
I think, I think you could make an argument that he's certainly a preeminent Nightcrawler artist. If not, I mean, you could make the argument that he's the Nightcrawler artist, in my opinion.
Well, Chuck Arnold just said it. Davis Nightcrawler is the best
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. Yeah, I mean, and obviously I like Cockrum's version of him as well, but there was something special about the way Davis drew him. So yeah, no, this is a great piece. Congrats to Brian for getting this one. Yep, everybody, yeah, that completely agree, Eric. And then this was the my pick for the cover image for the show. I mean, just beautiful. I mean, I love Middleton's work, right? But I mean, this is just pure bliss. I mean, I love the colors used.
Yeah,
they're even the flat painted background. I mean, it just works so well as a again, it's a very graphic image. The placement of the practically the gold yellowy colors that go throughout it. I mean, it's just so well balanced. It's a gorgeous piece. I mean, painting the bats in gold. I mean, that's I want a few more bats in gold on this piece because it's just fun graphic elements. It's beautiful. And now I see why I picked it over the Sclera, just because I really like this image a lot. I mean,
yeah, it's really elegant. I mean, it's the image is so well balanced. I like the contrast that so the white moon and the figure cutting across both the white moon and the background is a really nice touch. It's got like a, what do I want to say? Like I don't know, like a Leyendecker feel to it, or like
sure.
like a magazine cover almost versus a.
Yeah, it could be like a
cover.
New Yorker or something,
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, no. Well, now I'm seeing why I picked it over the other one. I mean, I love them both, but something about this does stand out. I mean, just it has I don't know, it's a little bit more refined, whereas the other one is very nuanced. And oh, sorry, George, you have to run. That's okay, man. We'll catch you again. I got to send you an email. I've been wanting to ask you a couple things about Heroes. So maybe we can talk this weekend.
See you in a few months, George.
That's right. It's not that far away. I haven't even made my hotel arrangements yet. I got to do that. Let's see. Next up, got 3 more pieces to look at. This is a Chrissy Zullo piece. This is in Dan Gallo's Calf Gallery. Dan's got, of course, a fantastic collection. The thing I liked about this one, I like the colors and the kind of simplistic approach to the backgrounds on this. Honestly, it has. I don't even know how to. I can't put a word to it, but it's a very. It's almost like a children's book illustration, the way things are
that's
drawn,
where
right?
my head was going to. The color, the palette even is children's fish.
It is. I mean, I they should be like walking a dog somewhere in this or something. And there's just something about the way this was done, but it's so consistent. It wasn't accidental that was the approach. I'm going to switch back to the full view. That's so much better. But yeah, I mean, clearly that was the intent, because even the anatomy and the figures, I mean, I know it's Spider-Man, so you kind of bend things a little bit, but it's just very fun, like a children's book illustration. And I like it. I like it a lot. I love the soft, supple coloring that's done in here. I don't know if it's watercolor. Let's see, what does it say? Mixed media.
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
At least a lot of it's watercolor. Those backgrounds are watercolor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like, it's cartoony. This could easily be the cover of a children's book.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I haven't been in Dan's calf gallery in a while, so I can't remember. I can't really remember like what his focus is, but I just thought this was a cool piece, and it's
fairly tight too.
See how Spider-Man Double Trouble. I mean, that's kind of the word Spider-Man, but yeah, this thing is awesome. But I love, this. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm sure he's very happy to have this one. Chrissy Zullo. All right, 2 more here. Oh, okay, and the 2 more are ones that probably most people don't know about. Well, maybe Kai Carpenter. I don't know. Have you heard of Kai Carpenter before?
I don't think so. Although I almost picked this as well.
Okay, yeah, you should check out. I mean, Kai Carpenter is an amazing painter. He He
Clearly.
exhibits at IX every year or thereabout. He's just a master in his approach, and a young guy, I think, as well. But he's got an incredible style, and so it's no surprise that Tatiana would pick up this painting from him. It's man, I mean, I'm always impressed. I mean, he's probably been in every time he's submitted anything to Infected by Art, he's always gotten into the book. I think he was the back cover to issue 10, which I don't have around here right now. I mean, he's easily could become the cover, he'll be on the cover at some point because he's just that good. I mean, this is an image I'd love to have.
Reminds me a little bit of Marko Đurđević.
Yeah, that's true. But man,
or even like painter, like remember when Nick Klein was painting?
Mm-hmm.
Like before he kind of like started painting with ink, he was like a painter. It's got a little bit of that feel to it too. That's a compliment. It's a huge compliment. In my book.
Marcus, you always find the right graphic elements to share here.
The leaves are a really cool part of this.
They are. Yeah, without them it wouldn't feel quite the same. But yeah, it's a definite dynamic that adds something to this standoff, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love this piece. So again, I bet you if I click on Kai Carpenter's name, I bet you there is not going to be a lot of Kai Carpenter art on CAF. 16 pieces, but definitely check him out. I mean, he's a great. Look, this is in Carl Choi's CAF gallery, so he's a wonderful painter.
I'm opening another window right now.
Yes, yeah, you definitely should check him out. And then, so that kind of leads into this next one because this is an artist that I don't know how I don't know their name or what they've done, but they actually have other artwork on CAF. This artist's name is Dan Smith, and this piece is from 1927.
What?
I know, that's what I was like. Who in the hell is Dan Smith? Because look at this thing. I mean, and I'll show you the other pieces that are on CAF. There's only like 16 of them, but
this could be Mark Schultz. If you asked me who this was, I'd be like, "Is it Mark Schultz?"
I don't know who this person is. I would have thought that I would have come across, especially from this period, I would have come across this name before. I don't know anything about Dan Smith, but this.
Well, I like that we both don't know. That makes me feel better.
Right. Well, I was worried you're going to be like, you don't know Dan Smith. Let me tell you,
you idiot.
But yeah, I mean, look at the detail, in the tiger. That is unbelievable. I mean, the work in the figure's cool and cute, and sexy or whatever. But then you just start looking at the detail around the figure. I mean, holy crap. I mean, it's stunning. I want to see a bigger scan of this. This is somebody I should give one of those premium memberships to and just tell Alex Bialy he's got to go ahead and
punch this one scan up.
Yeah, I want this one scan blown up. But yeah, I'm like Dan Smith. Let's see. It says Art for Syndicated Sunday, a newspaper supplement cover in the Famous Women series. So Queen of Palmyra, Zenobia. But yeah, so I clicked on Dan Smith. And it was funny because it looks like he must have posted these as separate.
Oh, yeah,
and he did. Because here, so we get a detail. I mean, look at that.
Holy crow.
I mean, there's some dry brush in there. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, and so I saw that, and then you get the close up of the face as well. So I mean, geez. Unbelievable. But there are a few other pieces on the site. There was this Johnny C has this Dan Smith Out of the Sky from 1927. Look at this. How is there an illustrator from this period that I've just never heard of? I mean,
totally like under the radar.
Yeah.
Can you would you go back to the close up of the woman, the queen's face?
Yeah, I'll swing back to that.
So I'm looking at this, and what I see is in the hair, especially like whenever I see something from Dan Panosian, I'm like, oh, I love the way he inked like that set or like that hair or whatever. That's this.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Dan Panosian knows about this guy.
I probably does. He's probably happy that no one else knows about him. But no, I mean, I'm dumbfounded, right? I mean, where was the other one? Because some other names came up because of it being just Dan and Smith. Oh, like here, another piece that Johnny C has. This Romeo and Juliet piece. I just like, oh my God. I just can't believe. And look at that. I mean, yeah, with original watercolor drawings by Dan Smith.
And I mean, cut from the same cloth as, you know, Raymond and,
yeah,
you know, his contemporaries for sure.
Yeah, this I picked this one yesterday. I kind of stumbled into it, but I'm going to do some research on Dan Smith because I really, I just can't believe. Here's a piece. Of course, Doug Ellis would have a piece by Dan Smith, and look at that. It's fantastic. I mean, unbelievable. So I'm glad that most people there's nobody in the audience saying that they know Dan Smith. So
I think there's a couple. I think Lee Harmon was like, "Oh yeah, Dan Smith."
Well, let's see. Troy Pierce said, "Yep, there's several amazing pen and ink illustrators from this period." Absolutely.
Sure.
I agree. I've just never
didn't know Dan Smith.
Right. Exactly. So I'm gonna do a little research, see if I can find what I can find out about him. But yeah, loved the piece
cool.
that I picked. Yeah, thank you.
Gone for 2 weeks and I come back and I learned something.
I know you're the one usually finding the artist for me, but yeah, no, this one, but it was, you couldn't pass it up, right? I mean, now that you've seen it, but there are other ones here, this Circus Baby, I don't know, a couple other pieces. Anyway, not enough for sure. So let me go ahead and hide that. But yeah, awesome. Well, Chris, it's wonderful to have you back, and we'll see. Next week it's the 30th, so you'll be doing your picks then. You're not going anywhere, right? And I'll tell you, I still haven't figured this Tapped app, man. I have it doesn't work like I want it to. It's like when I go into it, I want to like be able to see my one friend on it, when I land on the main page, and I can't like figure out how to get back to where you are. It's like I don't know what to click on. It's like, how do I find you?
You should be able to see my activity though.
Well, it never,
because I've never stopped drinking, Bill.
Well, that's what, I was thinking if you went to Germany, I should be able to go into here and like immediately see that, wow, Chris Snork has outpaced you for the day. He's already on beer number 4. And you haven't even started yet.
Every day. No,
I'm going to, honestly, man, one of these days we're going to have to sit down because I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah. Hit me up and I'll just show you how I use it.
All right. Because I actually would like to try it. And especially to just find some places to go a couple times a month.
The best thing to do would be to just check in a beer, and then you'll start like
getting into the hang of using it. All right, but you know what I mean. I'm looking for that Facebook experience where I can see my friends and what they're doing, and or maybe
it's there. It's
maybe
there.
like where it would like highlight things going on at local brew pubs or that sort of thing too. So it's there. All right. You and you're going to give me a tutorial on this app because it sounds like it does everything I want it to do and I can't figure it out.
You're on. Yep.
All right. Well, man, again, great to have you back.
Happy to be back.
I missed you. And like you said, Kevin Sharp, he did well. And I didn't mention it. I've actually got a lot of different guests popping in for different reasons on the CAF updates coming up. Kevin Sharp's going to be on to promote an upcoming project. I forget who all was going to be with them. I think Veronica Fish was going to be one of the guests with them. So lots of things that to pop in and promote. I want to get that variety back into the show. I'm even going to have Sharon on in a few weeks because she'll have most of her sketch covers done by then, and I thought it'd be fun to bring her in and show off her work. So I want to get that flavor back into the channel where it's just you don't know what to expect every week. So.
Right.
All right, man. Well, listen, and enjoy the rest of your night, and welcome back.
Will do. Thanks, everybody.
All right. So see, I did go long, but at least I'm kind of consistent. 2.5 hours on this, but there was a lot of fun picks this week for sure. I mean, I probably could have picked about 5 or 10 different pieces as well, but the Kai Carpenter, when I saw that piece, I knew I was going to go with it because I love everything Tatiana picks up, whether it's comic illustration or it's in the sci-fi fantasy realm, painterly stuff. Tatiana has impeccable taste, and that Kai Carpenter one piece was just brilliant. And again, if you don't know Kai Carpenter, it's Kai and then Carpenter. Google him, check out his stuff, because he's amazing. And Dan Smith, I don't think any of us know anything about, but I'll do some research, and maybe next week I'll do a primer on Dan Smith and maybe some other of Dan Smith's contemporaries, because I agree with everybody. Turn of the century artists were absolutely amazing, and the idea that those kinds of things were just appearing in periodicals, just things that we just don't have today. I mean, it's just, you had to have artists that were that good, to make those magazines palatable, so you'd buy it, right? So anyway, Sharon is the best, says Anthony. I do agree. Seer of all that is obvious. Well, welcome to the show, but we are wrapping it up right now. I know you just got here. I cannot start over, but nice to have you here at the end of all things, as they say from the Lord of the Rings. But you can always watch it on the rewind. 2.5 hours of comic art greatness. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, if you enjoy the things that we do here on the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, do it. If you haven't turned on your notifications, please do it. Leave a thumbs up if you don't mind, and a comment. If there was anything on the show that you found interesting you want to talk about later, you can do that on the comments over on YouTube. So we appreciate that. Cheers, Bill. Thanks. Hey, Jeff, it's always good to have you in the chat, as you know. And as soon as I get over this next, the current schedule I'm on, where I'm doing 6 shows a week, we will definitely be talking about the next CAFU bit that we're going to do. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. And I hope to see you on Saturday. Those of you who aren't going to WonderCon, who can tune into the Dan Brereton sale, on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, please do. Even if you don't buy anything, it's going to be a great conversation. And you've seen a lot of the artwork already. It's going to be fun to see, which pieces go quickest and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm sure it won't be anywhere near a sellout because we have so much artwork, but it's all fantastic. And I'm really curious to see which pieces people most gravitate to when we show them. So have a great night, and I'll see you again this weekend, once I can turn off the show.